Hello guys, this is your friend and we are back with a new fanfic. Location, Konoha, specific location, council chambers. What? That was the surprise scream of the 5th Hokage Tsunade Senju. We of the council request that Uzumaki Naruto be banished, and nowhere near 100 feet near the fire country permanently. Koharu repeated himself. Again? What? Why? Tsunade asked, shocked of what they had said. The boy has proven himself to be a worthy ninja for this village, not that this place deserves it. After all the crap we put him through. So why banish him? Jiraiya asked, standing next to Tsunade. The boy was useful, but unfortunately he has proven himself unstable for this village. He will turn against us one time and murder us all like pigs. Just be lucky that thing won't be executed. Koharu spoke out. I don't know why we can't execute that demon, he deserves nothing better at all. Hissed a civilian council member, which soon made him shiver in fear when he felt killer intent all around him from Tsunade, Jiraiya, Shizune and Tonton, the shinobi side of the council and the Haruno girl. Because, if Naruto Uzumaki was to be killed, the Nine Tails surely will leave his body. Only the host can die, the demon cannot. It will take time to reform itself to its former state, by then it will come back here and kill us all for what it has suffered. Informed Koharu. I wouldn't be surprised. This village has done nothing but torture Naruto for days, weeks and years, all for the hate of something they foolishly believe he's a demon. This village deserves such punishment, I would say. Jiraiya spoke out. Nevertheless, we can't let that thing live here anymore, it's only going to make matters worse, so we just have to banish it while it's in a coma. Danzo informed. No. Tsunade said. No. Danzo said, confused and disappointed at her answer. You heard me. I said no. Remember, all of you, I am the Hokage and I have the power to banish anyone I want to. And Naruto's banishment is completely neglected in this case. So to rephrase that, my answer is no. Tsunade explained, resting her case. But Tsunade-sama, we can't let it live here anymore, if it goes insane. Koharu was cut off. Then I'll be the one to calm him down, he's my brother and I won't allow anything to happen to him. End of discussion. Tsunade finished. Danzo then stood up from his chair, and put his unwrapped arm under his robes, looking for something. Fine. I wouldn't want to do this, Tsunade-sama. But you left me no other choice. After a few minutes of searching, he had finally found what he's been searching for. He pulled his arm back and revealed a small scroll. Tsunade's and the rest of the council widened their eyes as soon as Danzo unrolled the scroll. Before this council meeting began, I had ordered a petition, a vote for the whole village. This vote is about whether or not should Naruto Uzumaki should be banished. Tsunade's eyes read the scroll as fast as she can. She soon narrowed her eyes, but then widened them in fear as she had finally finished reading the scroll, and according to shinobi laws, at page 58, section 42, it says, when a petition is up, the Hokage has complied to whatever the petition is about, either they like it or not. Those are the rules, Tsunade-sama. Danzo reminded. And he was right too. Tsunade couldn't argue against it. It was one of those orders she couldn't argue with, even at the position of Hokage. When? Shizune asked, shivering in worry. About 2 hours before this session began. The vote starts in 3 hours, either Naruto Uzumaki should be banished or not. It will be decided by the civilians and shinobi of Konoha. Danzo said, as he rolled the scroll back up, with a devilish smirk on his face, the vote will be decided tomorrow. Danzo finished, as the rest of the civilian council, besides Mrs. Haruno, smirked devilishly. Fine. Sai, the vote will begin soon, and tomorrow. It will decide the fate of Naruto Uzumaki. Tsunade's voice had both defeat and sadness. Sadness in which Danzo smirked at, it made him happy that he's controlling the village's Hokage. Location, Konoha's hospital, specific location, Naruto's room. In Naruto's room, Sakura was still holding the comatose Naruto's hand, gripping it as hard and tight as she could. She never had let go of his hand ever since she came here. It was dark and she knew she had to go home. It was late, but before that she kissed Naruto's forehead, and left before closing the door. By that stage 2 Anbu Black Ops member arrived to guard the room, to stop any villagers trying to kill the poor boy. While making her way out of the hospital, she met Tsunade, who had a sad look on her face, same with Shizune and Tonton who were walking right behind her. "What's wrong, Tsunade-sama?" Sakura asked, as her face grew slightly worried. Sigh. Sakura. In this situation, if anybody is the first to know, it's you since you're one of Naruto's teammates and his lover. "I'm afraid I have some bad news," Tsunade informed with a sad tone in her voice. What? Sakura. "In the next 2 hours there will be a vote to banish Naruto from Konoha." But why? "Because the damn council thinks Naruto is a threat to this village, they don't understand how he feels like we do." Sakura had her head hung down in shame and sadness. "This is all my fault. If I hadn't done what I did to him yesterday back at the bridge. None of this would happen." Sakura then bursted into tears. By then Tsunade put a hand over her shoulders. "It's alright, Sakura. The council had it in on Naruto since the day he was born. They're just using this situation as an excuse to get rid of Naruto," Tsunade informed, patting the pink kunuchi, trying to calm her down. "But I won't let them do that to him. I promise, even though this petition may be against me, I promise you I'll do anything in my power to stop them from banishing Naruto," Tsunade promised, before hugging Sakura, stopping a few of her tears from letting out. "Will Naruto-kun be okay, Tsunade-sama?" Sakura asked, drying off her eyes. "He will be, Sakura. The brat's too stubborn to stay in a coma. The vote will start soon. We need all the votes we can get if we want Naruto to stay here." With that said, Tsunade released Sakura and moved on to her office, where she will have an important meeting with a few people. Sakura could only pray for Naruto, hoping that the vote would be in Naruto's favor. How wrong she was. Location: Hokage Tower. Specific location: Hokage's office. "Tsunade-sama. They're here," Shizune informed. "Good. Let them in," Tsunade ordered. Shizune did as she was told, as she opened the door, to let Kakashi, Jiraiya and Mrs. Haruno in. They took seats at the opposite side of Tsunade. "I'm sure that you all know that even if half the village is for Naruto, the other half is against him, not to mention the entire Hyuga clan," Tsunade informed. "Yeah, but we have nothing to worry about, right? It will be an equal vote, so it will be in Naruto's favor," Jiraiya commented, his voice filled with confidence. "But Jiraiya-sama, the Hyuga clan is one of the most influenced clans in all of Konoha, and we know Hayashi would give them some order to vote for the banishment. If the entire clan votes, we may as well give up on fighting," Mrs. Haruno said, with sad eyes on her face. "Which is why I called you all here. I may have a plan to save Naruto. Even if the petition is up, the plan is foolproof," Tsunade informed, confidence in her voice. "And that would be?" Kakashi asked. "The promise Minato and Sarutobi-sensei made, the promise to keep Naruto safe and keep his heritage a secret," Tsunade explained. "I believe it is time that we revealed it to him. And there is no doubt other villages will find that out too," Tsunade finished. The room was silenced for a moment. Kakashi sighed. He knew something like had to happen sometime. Jiraiya had defeat in his eyes. As much as he wanted to keep his student's son safe from enemy villages, he couldn't break the promise to him for making his son look like a hero to the village. Mrs. Haruno was friends with Minato and Kushina, in fact one of their best friends. Since they died she heard of their sacrifice for Naruto and would do anything to make sure he was okay. She was worried that the boy would be in danger if news of his heritage ever got out, but in this situation it had to be done. "Tsunade-sama. Are you sure this is the only way we could win against Danzo and Hiashi? I mean, once his heritage is revealed, villages like Kumo and Iwa will be after him, others will be trying to kill him for revenge against Minato. Naruto will be in more danger if the other villages find out about this, more danger than Naruto will be in than behind the walls of the village. Mrs. Haruno informed. I know, Mrs. Haruno. It's a difficult decision, but we have no choice. In that matter, either we let the vote decide to banish Naruto or we save him by revealing his heritage. Tsunade agreed. Not only that, considering he is the last of the Namakazes, the council will want him to be put under a CRA. Note: CRA stands for Clan Restoration Act, to produce a few Namakaze heirs. Not only that, but I'm sure they would want him to marry a few of their daughters so they could keep the Namakaze's fortune to themselves. Jiraiya added. So, Naruto is in danger both outside of the village and inside? Mrs. Haruno asked. Everyone just nodded. You could say that in a way. Kakashi commented. Overall, I know it's a tough choice, and I know that the consequences are against us. But we have to try. For Minato and Kushina, we're doing it for them, and their son. Tsunade finished, while everyone just nodded in agreement. I have a bad feeling about this. Jiraiya thought as he felt something bad was going to happen. I'm sorry, sensei. I should have watched Naruto more. I guess I have failed you once again. Kakashi thought sadly. Don't worry, Sakura. I'll help you and make sure nothing stands between you and Naruto. Thought a determined Mrs. Haruno. Location: Haruno residence. Knock, knock, knock. These were the knocks and sounds coming from the door, indicating someone was there. Sakura heard this and ran downstairs to open the doors. Coming, she shouted, as she opened the door. After Sakura opened the doors, she was shocked to see the one person and probably the last to see her, Hinata Hyuga. Ever since Sakura first chased Naruto out of the village, Hinata was one of the few people to threaten her for what might happen to her if anything ever happened to Naruto. Even after they worked together to bring him back, she still felt afraid to talk to her. She thought Hinata was still mad at her for driving Naruto out of the village. Hinata, what are you doing here? Asked a shocked wide-eyed Sakura. Hinata's reaction was no different. Hinata had a shameful look on her face, her eyes looking down on the ground in shame. She knew Sakura was still afraid, but she had come here for a different reason. Sakura-chan, I didn't come here for the reason you think I did. I just wanted to apologize. The last part was whispered loud enough for Sakura to hear. What? Sakura asked, shocked by this. I'm sorry for the way I acted back at the Hokage's tower when I heard Naruto-kun left. I didn't know what came over me. I'm just upset. I guess I was upset that Naruto-kun never trusted us enough with his secret about the demon inside of him. Hinata explained. Sakura's shocked and fearful expression turned into a soft smile, narrowing her eyes at Hinata softly. It's okay, Hinata. I forgive you. I guess it was something I had coming for me back then. I really did deserve it, you know. I was a complete jerk to Naruto-kun. If anything, I thought I deserved that threat from Hinata. Sakura said, with a soft tone in her voice. But I'm really sorry, Sakura-chan. It wasn't like me to say or do that to you. I was upset and I should have known better than to take my anger out on you. Hinata said, shame located in her tone of voice. Again, Hinata, it's alright. We were all a little surprised to find out Naruto-kun had been keeping this secret from us for such a long time. I just feel bad at the moment. I found out that I was in fact part of his suffering. I never knew the whole village hated him for something that stupid. Sakura commented, as she soon started to remember some memories about what she had done to aid the suffering of Naruto. To be honest, she was arguing to herself if she should have Naruto or not. Sure, Naruto deserves Sakura, but Sakura thought that she didn't deserve Naruto. After all the pain she put him through, the rejections, the insults, the punches and kicks, and the shouting she had done to Naruto. However, her inner self kept on telling her that she's just overreacting. Naruto would just forgive Sakura as he usually does. Usually Sakura agrees with her inner self, but after the way Naruto reacted to her back when they first battled, she'd known gaining his trust and forgiveness would take some time to repair, but she'd known he would probably never forgive her of anything ever again. But she remembered all the times Naruto kept on trying and trying and trying to get her attention, and for how many years? Since kindergarten. If Naruto spent all this time trying to get her attention, Sakura would do the same to get his forgiveness, even if she had to spend the rest of her life trying, because that was her ninja way. Hinata. I'm worried about him. You know there's a vote to banish him from the village or not? Sakura asked, worried for Naruto. Hinata just looked down at the ground in sadness. I know. Earlier today my father notified me of this. He wanted me to vote for the banishment. I refused and decided to vote for Naruto, against his banishment. Hinata informed. Hinata remembered how her father reacted to her. He was pissed beyond belief that she disobeyed his wishes, and she wasn't the only one. Neji wasn't gonna vote for the banishment either, he was on Hinata's side. Hayashi used the bird cage seal on Neji, forcing the boy to hold his forehead in pain. Hinata begged her father to stop hurting Neji. She begged, and she begged. She cried to stop her father, but he refused to stop. In anger, Hayashi slapped Hinata hard. Neji was suffering a lot, but soon Guy and Kurenai were going to check up on their students to make sure they're okay. By the time they reached the household, they saw everything that had just happened before their very eyes. Guy kicked Hayashi, while Kurenai quickly tended to Neji. He was unconscious. Hinata begged Kurenai to take him to the hospital. She agreed and went. Hayashi ordered them to return Neji, but Tsunade was at the hospital that time and heard the whole story from Hinata. She threatened Hayashi. If you ever get near Neji or Hinata, I'll personally gut your eyes from your very skull with my bare hands. Then we'll see how you'll handle with your Hyuga pride taken from your eyes. Now get lost before I change my mind. How could you do this to them? Hiashi. They're just genin. Tsunade threatened Hayashi, which worked. After that Hayashi left the hospital. He was furious with his daughter and the person he referred to as a Hyuga traitor, that they defended the demon brat. He swore that they will receive the ultimate punishment once Neji is released from the hospital. Hinata shivered slightly at her father's actions towards her and Neji. She was used to it ever since her mother had died. But still she wished her father would not hate Naruto more than the civilians do. She wonders why he hates him more than anyone else. Surely the other great clans of Konoha had lost members too, but they weren't mad at Naruto as Hayashi was. So I guess we're both gonna have to try hard and hope that Naruto-kun won't be banished at all. Sakura hoped. I guess. I have to go. I need to see Neji-kun at the hospital, by Sakura-chan. Hinata then left Sakura's sight to head to the hospital. She realized that Sakura kept adding, kun, to the end of Naruto's name every time she mentioned it. Hinata knew if Naruto wakes up and finds out Sakura loves him, she knew they would start dating soon. But she wasn't sad, the two do belong to each other. Hinata knows that Naruto showed more love to Sakura than she showed with Sasuke. Speaking of Sasuke, Hinata still felt her heart pumping every time she was close to him. In fact, every time she was close to Naruto, Sasuke was close to them. She was feeling uncomfortable, which made her rethink her feelings for Naruto. Does she love Naruto or not? And what does this have to do with Sasuke? Her answer would have to wait. She had to help Naruto in order for him to stay. All she could do was hope that Naruto wouldn't be banished from Konoha. Time skip. 1 day later. It's been a whole night since the vote. Today was the day Naruto's fate would be determined. After the vote, most of the Konoha rookies were hoping that Naruto would stay. Those were Akamaru and Kiba, Choji, Neji, Tenten, Lee and Ino. Shikamaru and Shino knew that there was a high probability chance that Naruto would be banished. There was no way in chance to stop it, but he fought for his friend anyway. Sakura was hoping that Naruto wouldn't be banished. She knew that Tsunade wouldn't let anything happen to him. Hinata was also worried. She wanted Naruto to stay. He hasn't even become Hokage yet. He can't leave till he reaches his goals. Sasuke was hoping that the vote would be in Naruto's favor. He wasn't quite sure they would win, but he had to try. Iruka also voted for Naruto to stay, as did Anko, which made Iruka suspicious of the woman, seeing how she must care for Naruto. Despite all of the senseis, rookies and Tsunade's efforts, along with half the portion of the village, Tsunade had counted the vote, to realize that they had lost. Naruto Uzumaki was banished from the village hidden in the leaves. However, Tsunade was a gambler, and every gambler knows they always have a trick up their sleeve. As a final resort, she's going to release Naruto's heritage to Naruto, today. Location: Council Chambers. In the council chambers, the people that were present was the clan heads, the civilian council, Sasuke since he's the last Uchiha and should take part in a situation like this, the Junin elite, Shizune who was holding Taunton, and Jiraiya who was standing right next to Tsunade. The civilian council besides Mrs. Haruno was smirking. They knew they had won the vote. It was obvious that Naruto would be banished from the village. Danzo stood up and began his announcement. The vote has reached its decision. Naruto Uzumaki is to be banished. We are going to send Anbu to pick up his body and throw it beyond the borders of the Fire Country. He is then to never to return to Konoha ever again. Danzo announced. The civilian council beside Mrs. Haruno chuckled in victory. All seemed hopeless now that the council had made their final decision. However, for Tsunade, she wouldn't go down easy without a fight, of course. Tsunade stood up from her chair, before announcing, "You can't banish him." "And why can't we?" Danzo asked, with a smirk on his face. Because, Tsunade paused for a few seconds, Naruto Uzumaki isn't his real name. Tsunade said. Everyone was just dumbfounded and wondered what she meant. They didn't understand what she meant by his real name, but Danzo knew what she meant, and was hoping she wouldn't be foolish enough to reveal his heritage to the council. How wrong he was. His real name is, Tsunade paused again for a few seconds before continuing, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. Tsunade finally finished. As she finished her sentence, the council gasped as they had heard that their great hero the fourth Hokage had the demon brat as his son. Some felt terrible for the things they did to him, others were thinking that because he's the son of the last Namikaze, they could have one of their daughters marry him and claim his fortune and family jutsus. Others believed it was a lie, to get Naruto out of banishment. This boy can't be a Namikaze. He's a demon and forever will be the demon that had killed thousands of innocent lives and over-beloved fourth Hokage. What proof do you have of his existence as a Namikaze anyway? Demanded an angry civilian councilman. Well, if it's evidence you want, it's evidence you get. Tsunade said, as she took out a scroll from her pockets and gave it to Danzo. Danzo received the scroll, only to carefully read every detail of it to make sure it was real. Every letter, every word, every sentence, everything was true. This was Minato's and Kushina's handwriting, no doubt about it. Unfortunately, Tsunade-sama is right. Danzo admitted, as he slowly put his arms down from reading the scroll. Are you sure? Asked a councilman civilian. Positive. Their seal, handwriting and their signatures, are 100% real. Danzo admitted again. The civilian grabbed the scroll next to him and read it multiple times, to make sure it was real or not. It's true. Naruto is the last of the Namikaze clan. We searched for him and everything about his blood was partly Minato's and Kushina's. Tsunade reassured them. But their child died in the process of the Kyuubi attack, right? Asked a confused council civilian woman. No, he's alive all right. Why would you think Minato wanted Naruto to look like the hero he always wanted him to be so much? Jiraiya asked. The council civilian woman couldn't answer, as it was of course obvious that it would be Minato's son that he wanted to look like a hero. If it were any random child, the third Hokage would have sent him to a different village that would care for him rather than abuse him. Not only does he have his father's and mother's blood, but his father's bloodline as well. Jiraiya informed, which made the council gasp at hearing that Naruto had his father's bloodline. His bloodline took time to develop, but as I suspect it would finally finish in the next few weeks. His bloodline is Kopi. Note: Kopi is copy in Japanese terms. Jiraiya explained. Kopi, you don't mean the Kopi, the fourths and the Namikaze's bloodline that allows the user to copy other bloodlines and jutsus for unlimited time. You don't mean that copy? Asked a disbelieved council civilian man. Jiraiya just simply nodded. Everyone in the council chambers started chatting about this outcome. They couldn't believe that their demon brat was the son of the fourth Hokage and last of the Namikaze clan. This is when they started to get ideas about what they would use Naruto for. Danzo all ready to have him transferred to Root so he can have a powerful weapon by his sides. The civilians besides Mrs. Haruno were thinking they could have one of their daughters to marry Naruto and produce some Namikaze heirs, gaining influence in the Namikaze clan. Seeing how Naruto is the son of Minato and Kushina, I say we shouldn't banish him. Said Shukaku Nara. I agree. Tsunade agreed. Even if Naruto is banished, I will cut all ties with Konoha and the Uchiha clan. Wherever he picks we will migrate there. Sasuke informed, as he wasn't joking and determined to help Naruto. You will also lose the support of the Nara clan. Nara Shukaku said. And the Yakamana, added Inoichi, and the Inazukas, added Sum Inazuka, and the Haruno's trade agreement, added Mrs. Haruno. Not only that but I will reassign Konoha's position to Hokage and follow Naruto wherever he goes. Tsunade added, with Shizune and Taunton nodding in agreement. You will also lose another Sannin. Jiraiya added. And you will lose our support. Asuma spoke out, as Kakashi, Guy and Kurenai nodded in agreement. All the other clan heads said similar things, beside the Hyugas. They all warned Konoha that if Naruto was banished they would aid him in his journey towards a new village. If Naruto was banished, not only they would lose the Namikaze clan's support, but the other clans as well, and a few of the Junin elite too. Danzo stood up from his seat before announcing, seeing how important Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze is. And how others will follow his footsteps. I guess we have no choice but to pardon Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze of his crimes for trying to flee the village, and releasing the Kyuubi for the third time. It was over. Tsunade had won. She had beaten Danzo in his own game, but she knew this was far from over. However, seeing how he's the last Namikaze, we need to put him under a CRA to produce more Namikaze children to ensure the safety of the Namikaze clan. Danzo announced. Then we will wait until he wakes up. Naruto gets to make that decision if he wants to be put under a CRA or not. Tsunade shot back, stern in her voice. But we must act quickly before he dies. If he dies then it's the end of the Namikaze clan. A council civilian man explained. How about he can have a contract in future to marry my daughter? Suggested one of the civilian council men. And how about mine? Asked a civilian council man. And mine? Asked a civilian council woman. Each after each, the civilian council has been suggesting that their daughters should marry Naruto as soon as possible. This of course gave Tsunade a headache as she was losing it over the repeated sentence of Naruto marrying one of their daughters. Enough! Tsunade shouted, as the entire council room did as she said, and was silenced. We have an agreement. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze is not to be banished from the village. Understood? Tsunade asked, which of course led the council to nod. Also it's Naruto's decision who he wants to marry. We won't force him into marriage, he'll pick whoever he wants to marry to. Understood? Tsunade asked in a stern voice, which led the council to nod. It was true. Those that were put under a CRA would have to pick how many and which wives he has to marry. They had no power to force Naruto to marry whoever they choose him to marry. Once Naruto wakes up, he'll be the one to pick his future bride. Soon the entire council left the chambers, Sasuke included. The only ones present were the Junin elite, Mrs. Haruno, Shizune and Tsunade. Are you sure it was worth it? Mrs. Haruno asked in concern. It was the only way. I had no choice but to do it. It was either Naruto banished or we keep the promise to Minato and Kushina. Tsunade said, in a voice of defeat. Break one promise to keep another, I suppose. Kakashi guessed, which made Tsunade nod at his statement in agreement. Let's just hope that the rookies won't be too surprised at this revelation. Asuma hoped, which made Kurenai nod in agreement. I don't know how Naruto will handle the truth. I know that Brat will go crazy when he hears the news. Tsunade said. Which she wasn't wrong either. She was right. Naruto wouldn't like hearing that not only the hero of the village, one of the greatest Hokages that had ever lived, sealed the nine-tailed demon, which made Naruto's life a living hell, turns out to be his father. Knowing how Naruto had suffered, he'll probably need some time alone to accept this. It would be too much for Naruto to find out that he's a prodigy for one of the world's greatest and noble clan that had ever lived. And he will be hurt once he finds out that all the pain and suffering he's been put through would have all been ignored if the villagers knew he was the son of the fourth Hokage. She knew he wouldn't take any of this well. But the real question is, will his friends take the news well? Location, hospital, specific location, Naruto's room. Back at the hospital, Sakura was there once again, with a flower on vase next to Naruto's bed. She once again held Naruto's hand tightly, squeezing it hard until hopefully soon Naruto would wake up and apologize for what she had said 2 days ago. She hardly left his sight, and she didn't want to. She already ignored Naruto enough. She knew he never deserved any of this. He was always kind to her, nice and there for her. She had realized how long Naruto was there for her. She decided to be always there for him. She never wanted to leave his sight again. She had hopes up that the vote would be in Naruto's favor. How she hoped he would stay. He just came back to the village after his attempt to run away. She wants to make up so much for Naruto for all the times she had rejected him every time he asked her out for a date. As she was holding his hand, and Anbu came through the door. Excuse me, Mrs. Haruno. It's the Hokage. She wants to see you in her office. The Anbu informed before he vanished. Sakura just sighed as she hoped this was good news from Tsunade. Before she left, she held Naruto's hand tighter and kissed his forehead. I'll be back soon, okay, Naruto-kun. Sakura whispered at his ear, hoping that he heard what she said. She wasn't wrong, she was right. She closed the door slowly, taking a few glances at the unconscious Naruto before shutting the door. She walked away slowly, seeing the 2 Anbu guards on steady and alert in case if someone comes and tries to kill Naruto. Location, Hokage Tower, specific location, Hokage's office. Sakura just made it to the Hokage's office. In the office she had realized that the Rookie 9 was there, including Sasuke. For Sasuke, he knew what Tsunade was going to say. He was shocked himself at the meeting that Naruto was the son of the 4th Hokage, and the last member of the great Namikaze clan. It was a huge shock to him, and at the council room it explained why he had so many fangirls. As the council said, he never knew they were only after him because of his status as a last Uchiha and heir to the Uchiha clan. The rest of the rookies wondered why Tsunade had called them here. Shikamaru knew this was going to be a troublesome situation. I called you all here to reveal another secret that had been hidden from you and Naruto and the whole village for his whole life. Tsunade informed. The rookies began to chat quietly to each other, until Kiba stepped in. What now? Are you going to say that Naruto is some prodigy or son of a cage? Kiba asked, but he meant it as a joke with a smirk on his face. Akamaru followed him. Actually, you're right, Tsunade replied. Kiba along with Akamaru had their jaws dropped. The rookies, minus Sasuke, were all wide-eyed and shocked. Hey, I was only joking, Kiba said, as he was in disbelief. Well, your joke was a coincidence. If you're wondering, we lost the vote and Naruto was to be banished from the leaf forever. Tsunade informed, which made the rookies minus Sasuke gasp. Sakura had her hands clutched to her chest as she heard the news, however. Tsunade said, which made everyone minus Sasuke snap and heard what she was going to say. In the end we managed to pull through. We told the council of his heritage. Today I'll let the whole village know about it. Tsunade finished. Naruto's heritage? Asked a confused Neji. Yes, Neji. Naruto has a heritage. Tsunade confirmed. Naruto's real name isn't Naruto Uzumaki, it's Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. Uzumaki is just his middle name. Supposedly, Naruto is the last member of the Namikaze clan, a clan which possess what is known as the king of the bloodlines, Kopi. Tsunade explained. Kopi. Isn't that bloodline similar to Sasuke's? Ino shocked asked. Yes, but it copies other bloodlines as well, and jutsus. It also keeps them in his memory, so he has those forever. The Sharingan can only copy jutsus for a limited amount of time, it makes all other bloodlines weak and pathetic compared to its own. Sasuke explained. Exactly, which is why his banishment was cancelled. Those civilian council people and the old idiots would do anything to get their hands on any weapon which is powerful whatsoever. Not only that, but they want him to be out under a CRA to bring new members of the Namikaze clan back to life. I told them it was Naruto's decision to be put under a CRA or not. Tsunade explained. Sakura felt relieved but shocked that Naruto was the heir to the great Namikaze clan. She also felt a bit angry that Naruto would be out under a CRA. Only she gets Naruto-kun, no other girl is allowed to touch him. She knew that he'll probably reject it since he has a heart only for one girl, and that would be his Sakura-chan. Although Sakura did suspect that Naruto wouldn't accept her, he would reject her harsh and cold as she did to him. Oh, and Sakura. Tsunade called. Yes, milady. Sakura answered. I had Inoichi erase his memory of the rejection you gave him. Naruto won't remember anything that had happened, he won't even remember the fight he had, all he'll remember will be the walk to you team meeting location. So he won't be trying to run away again, okay? Tsunade informed, with a smile on her face. Okay. Sakura repeated, as she smiled the fact that Naruto wouldn't be angry with her when he wakes up. It will be 2 weeks until Naruto will wake up, as well as his bloodline finally developing. Tsunade informed again. It took this long till his bloodline would finish? Asked a shocked Ino. Yes. You see, the Kopi bloodline is a fragile bloodline which takes time to develop. Usually for a Namikaze it would take about 6 years for it to develop, but since Naruto holds the Kyuubi within him, I can only guess that the demon's chakra had probably advanced the bloodline, so it would probably be much stronger than it is for a normal Namikaze member. Tsunade explained as the whole group listened in. You said that Naruto was a son of a Kage, who would it be? Asked Tenten. You all know what the fourth looks like, am I correct? Tsunade asked, which made the rookies nod. Well, take a deep thought about it, Naruto looks like him, doesn't he? Tsunade asked. Everyone did as she said, and took a deep thought. Now that she said it, it does seem like Naruto shares a lot of facial features with the fourth besides the whisker-like marks he has on his face. He looks like a little brother. Adding the puzzle with the son of a Kage and the similarities between them, they could only come up with one answer. That Naruto is the son of the fourth Hokage. Tsunade-sama, are you telling us that Naruto-kun is the son of the fourth Hokage? Asked a shocked Lee. Tsunade simply nodded. Yes, he is Minato's son, I never discovered it until I was brought back to Konoha. He is also the son of Kushina Uzumaki. The Uzumakis were once known as a great clan as well. Before their village known as Whirlpool was destroyed, the Uzumaki clan scattered to the winds, with the members lost and searching for a new home. But why did you keep it a secret? Asked Neji, in disbelief. Because both Minato and Kushina had enemies that were willing to do anything in their power to get revenge on those two in the Namikaze and Uzumaki clan, even killing Naruto to succeed in their revenge. Sarutobi-sensei promised them that he'll keep Naruto safe, but because he was reinstated to the position as Hokage, he had less time with Naruto, letting villagers take their anger out on the brat, for thinking he is the monster they believed him to be that almost destroyed the entire village, and taking lots of innocent lives away. Tsunade explained. But, didn't anyone adopt him? My father never hated Naruto, but he could have adopted him, why not? Tenten asked. My mom told me the truth, she said the civilian council and the Hyugas had created a law that no high-ranking council man or woman were to adopt Naruto-kun. The third was overruled and the law was passed on, but it was taken down when he died. Sakura explained, in a sad tone, while Neji and Hinata held their heads in shame, couldn't believe that their clan were one of the few clans that had passed on this law. Father. Why? Hinata asked in thought, her eyes narrowed to the ground in sadness. Hiyashi-sama, why did you pass this law? Neji asked in thought, clenching his fists in rage. I'll reveal his heritage to the rest of the village. I'll also give Naruto his heritage as his right as a Namikaze member and Uzumaki member. You are all dismissed. Tsunade finished. After that everyone left the room, and went back to their homes. It was a really shocking day for them, as they will be thinking of the turn of events that had happened in the last 2 days. A mess skip. 2 weeks later, location, Konoha. It's been 2 weeks since Naruto's attempted escape. For the past 2 weeks all of Konoha has been shocked. Why? Ever since Naruto has been brought back there were lots of surprises, such as the fact that he's the son of the 4th Hokage and the heir to the Namikaze clan. Villagers have been talking non-stop at the shocking revelation of Naruto Uzumaki. Or should I say, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze instead. The village and its people have been chatting a lot about Naruto's secret. Kids have felt ashamed that they had bullied Naruto over the fact that he's a Jinchuriki. They were all told the truth since it didn't matter anymore. It created a separation between the old generation and the young generation, as the young generation didn't trust any of the old generation. Kids have been mad at their parents for pouring in hate into their young for something that has happened so long ago. Teenagers left their homes to rent out apartments. They distrusted their parents so much they couldn't stand being under the same roof as they are. It was a poor decision and a big mistake the old generation took. The old classmates of Naruto wanted to apologize for what they said and did to him in the past. They didn't realize what they were doing. Obviously it was their parents' fault for pouring in their hate to their children. Some of the council civilian people were still trying to find a way for their daughters to date Naruto and claim his heritage. Sadly for them, their daughters didn't want anything in it, as the truth of a certain no adopting Naruto law was revealed to the village. Kids of the council were disgusted to be born by corrupt people who had forbidden the adoption of a certain blonde boy. Things in Konoha had just changed dramatically over the past 2 weeks after Naruto's failed attempt to defect from Konoha. The old generation of the village that hated Naruto continued to blame him for their young change in attitude. Despite the fact that he's in a coma, which shouldn't last more but probably a few days. There had been repeated attempts of assignation. The villagers wanted to kill Naruto more since he's the son of the 4th. They wanted to kill him because they thought he was disgracing his father's name for being alive. Remembering this, Sakura remembers that one time she visited one of the doctors in fact tried to kill him. Flashback. A few days ago, location, Konoha Hospital, specific location, Naruto's room. Sakura was on another day holding Naruto's hand and putting it close to her forehead. She was just waiting till he gets up. After hearing the news from Tsunade that Naruto's memories of what she had said that day was erased, she was glad and took this chance to fix Naruto's heart. At least he won't run away anymore, and ignore Sakura like he did before. As she kept her gaze on Naruto, she was interrupted by a few knocks on the door. Knock. 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 May I come in please? Asked a doctor, opened the door slightly as he was holding a small clipboard, while smiling at the pink kunyuchi. Sakura just simply nodded before answering, sure. As she gave him a soft smile. The doctor returned the smile as he began to come in the room and check Naruto's stats about his health and current position. Sakura returned her gaze to Naruto. So, Naruto is it? I heard he's the son of the 4th Hokage, isn't that right? The doctor asked as he checked his stats. Sakura didn't remove her gaze, she just answered simply, yes. Yes he is. And I hear a few people had tried to kill him even more since he's the disgrace of the fourth's name I hear. Asked the doctor, which by then Sakura started to feel killing intent, but it wasn't directed to her, it was directed to Naruto. Sakura just simply nodded. So I see. The doctor said as he slowly reached up to his sleeve to grab something sharp. Sakura could feel the presence of chakra, she felt it right next to her, and that was the doctor. Then, I guess I'll have to kill him. He then shouted, as he pulled out a chakra-infused kunai and was about to stab Naruto's head. Only to be stopped by Sakura. As she grabbed his arm and stopped the kunai strike with all the strength in her body. Stop. What are you doing? Sakura shouted, trying to finish what this boy's father tried to do. Kill him. He is a disgrace to the fourth's name. How dare he be the son of the fourth? He shouted in rage, as he swung his arm away from Sakura. But she just grabbed it again and stopped him. Stop please. She begged, as a few tears escaped her eyes. Like hell. He need to die. Get off of me. He shouted as he swung her off of his arm again. Now die for the name of the fourth homage. He finished, as he was about to stab Naruto's head, only to be stopped once again when Sakura jumped on Naruto's bed and used her body as a shield. The hell you're doing? Do you want to die? He asked her. No, I won't let you hurt Naruto-kun. She screamed as she held Naruto tightly to her chest. The doctor gasped before saying, so this is it then. Not only does the young generation distrust us because of that demon, but now you love him. Is that it? He asked, as he narrowed his eyes at the pink-haired girl. She looked at Naruto and back at him before answering, yes, I do love him with all my heart. And he's not a demon. The real demons in this village are the ones trying to kill a young innocent kid. Who has done nothing but help this village. You're all the real demons. A real demon would have never saved this village from an army. She screamed as she referred to the Chunin exams incident. I know that pink hair from anywhere. The doctor said as he examined her pink hair, you're the child of the great salamander, your father was the best shinobi there was. And you defend his killer. And love the murderer of the man that brought you into this world. He growled. That was the Kyuubi. He's not that demon that had killed my father. He's the person that loves me with all his heart. He's a great ninja of this village and would do anything to protect it. She shouted. Fine. I guess this village has become nothing more but demon lovers. He shouted. If you want to die with him then so be it. He finished. Without any second thought he raised the kunai in the air, and was about to stab the kunai through Sakura's head to Naruto's. Even though that possibility is low. Sakura then got close to Naruto and held him tightly. She closed her eyes and gritted her teeth to prepare for what's coming next. But it never did. All she heard was something or someone shout, shadow striking snake. She turned her head and opened her eyes slowly, to see that the doctor's hand was grabbed by 3 different things. First thing she noticed, it was wrapped in snakes. She turned to see Anko holding her right arm up while glaring seriously at the doctor. She also realized that his arm was grabbed by an angry Tsunade with her right arm. She looked at him angrily, killing intent directing towards him, her teeth gritting in anger. And the third hand she saw was in a fingerless glove. She looked around to see her sensei, while reading his Ika Ika Paradise book. She looked at the door to see Shizune with a shocked expression on her face. You know, this is a hospital, you shouldn't make a ruckus here. Kakashi simply said, as he let go of the doctor's arm. I was just trying to finish off what the fourth started. The doctor growled. By killing his son, exclaimed a disappointed Shizune. That thing is not his son. It's a demon in a child's skin. The doctor talked back. Anko retracted her snakes from his arm. That thing you call it is his son. Now get out. With that shouted enraged Tsunade threw the doctor literally to the wall outside of the room. Crash. Anko, I want you to take this man to Ibiki. Tell him I have a new present for him, and that he can do anything he wants with it. Tsunade ordered. Anko simply nodded, while holding the doctor's hand behind his back. While she was walking out, Iruka rushed in. He heard screaming while he was going to visit Naruto. Iruka looked at Anko, but she looked away and began to walk faster. Iruka couldn't help but stare at her, as he did not trust her, he didn't know her. What happened? Iruka asked, as he got to Naruto's room, looking at Sakura who had just climbed out of Naruto's bed and was being patted on the shoulder while silently crying. Shish, it's okay Sakura, he's gone. Tsunade said silently, comforting the young pink-haired Kunyuchi. Sniff sob it's not fair. Sniff sob it's not his fault he's the son of the fourth Hokage. Sniff sob I know people are upset that they lost loved ones in the fourth Hokage but sniff sob it doesn't mean they have to kill him. She cried, as she held Naruto's hand tightly. Hokage-sama? Iruka asked. Iruka. A doctor came here to try and kill Naruto. If it wasn't for Sakura he would have had the job done. You may have to visit later as I have a few issues with a certain someone to take care of at Ibiki's. Give Sakura some time, she needs it. Tsunade said, as Iruka nodded and felt sorry for Sakura. Flashback ends. Sakura had been feeling sad for the time being ever since then. People have been continually trying to kill Naruto all for him being the son of the fourth Hokage. I mean it really isn't his fault. They hate him even more because he's the fourth son. Anyway, security has been tight. Kakashi was now watching Naruto 24/7, twice as long as beforehand. That's why he was in the hospital room in time to stop that doctor from killing Naruto. And for the doctor, once he left Ibiki's, he then went to a talking doctor to help his head. He still has nightmares of whatever Ibiki has done to that man. Did the rookies or Sakura feel sorry, or did Tsunade and the other Junin and the rest of Naruto's friends feel sorry for him? No, because he deserved it. He was one of the doctors that had tried time by time to poison Naruto and treated his wounds to be worse than heal them. It was time that the doctor got what he deserved. Overall, all of Konoha has changed a lot. Everything that Konoha once was has changed. The young distrusts the old. Council members trying to find a way to gain Naruto's fortune. And lastly, the biggest change would be Sakura's feeling for Naruto. She hardly leaves his sight. She deeply loves him and wants to return all the love he has given her. However, this story is mostly focusing on Iruka and Anko. As Iruka wants to settle the whole why is Anko helping thing once and for all. Location: training grounds. Anko was just doing some target practice, throwing her kunais at 3 trees, directly hitting them at the center. For the past few days Anko had been feeling sorry for Naruto, as she remembers how she used to be treated in the village like he was, all because she was the former apprentice of Orochimaru. To her Naruto is just like her. The third Hokage always protected her just like he always protected him. Just like Naruto, she thought of the third as her grandfather, someone who'd protect her when she'd need protecting. Just like Naruto, she was saddened that he was killed at the Chunin exams incident. And she was more saddened that the murderer of the third was her former sensei. She felt rage and anger that she could use to kill Orochimaru for once and for all. But she didn't. Why? Because she saw Naruto, the way he continued to smile. The way he continued to laugh. Even though the first person to accept him was dead, he moved on. He hates Orochimaru just as much as anyone else does, but he wouldn't use the Kyuubi's chakra to help him kill that man, he would use his own strength. When she heard Naruto had tried to leave the village, she had to help. She couldn't just let the kid give up easily against the Kyuubi when he didn't give up his dream when everyone said it would be impossible. That's why she joined the search team to look for him. To her Naruto is just like her. Except one thing though. Unlike Naruto, there was never anyone she liked. Naruto always loved Sakura, but Anko never loved anyone since Orochimaru had betrayed Konoha. She never really did love anyone, she never let her heart be open-minded ever since then. She always hid her heart from everyone, she didn't want it to be stumped on by someone who might betray her trust again. She believes she'd go crazy if that happened. That's why the Kyuubi took control of Naruto for a while. He kept many emotions within him that he'd built a dam of his own emotions till it would break. And it did. That's why he tried to leave. And that's why Anko never did want her heart to be open-minded again. She believes if she let her heart be opened, she'd trust someone with her life, that would probably betray her and stump on it again. She never fully recovered from the pain Orochimaru had inflicted on her that day. Just like Naruto, she wears a mask to hide her pain. People think she's not hurt, but in reality she is, and she is in tremendous pain. As Anko was practicing her targets, Iruka was behind her. She didn't notice till she felt a presence nearby her. Without a second thought, she threw a kunai aimed for his head, but Iruka just stepped away in time before it contacted his face. Anko took a second to examine him and realized he was the man that helped her defeat Naruto a while ago. "Oh, it's you, what do you want?" she asked, as she turned around to continue her training on her targets. "Answers," Iruka replied, with a stern voice. Anko turned around again, with a confused look on her face. "Answers?" she asked. "Yes, answers," Iruka replied. "I want to know why you're so attached to Naruto. I need answers now. You're not like those villagers who see him as a demon and a disgrace to his father's name to you," he demanded, anger in his voice. "No, it's nothing like that at all," she replied, as she used her left arm to hold the back of her neck, clenching it tightly. "Then why are you so close to Naruto? I need to know. You'd better not be like those people who see him as a demon or a disgrace," Iruka demanded, his tone rising in anger. Anko had enough and shouted, "Because he's like me." Iruka's expression dropped. He was now dumbfounded. He didn't know what she meant by, "he's like me." "Wah what?" exclaimed Iruka, as he was trying to process what she had just said. "Because he's just like me," Anko repeated herself in a whisper loud enough for Iruka to hear. "You see. Just like him, I was mistreated by this place for a completely different reason," she explained. "If you think being hated because you hold something in you is a bad reason, wait till you hear this," Anko added, as she held her right arm with her left tightly. "I was hated by the village because I'm the apprentice of Orochimaru," she said quietly. "Orochimaru," exclaimed Iruka as he was surprised that he's talking to the former apprentice of Orochimaru. Anko just simply nodded, as she had her eyes look down on the ground in shame. "Yes. So I guess people hated you if you're like Naruto then?" Iruka guessed, wide-eyed at the news. Anko just nodded simply again before replying, "Yes. I was. You see. Ever since my sensei betrayed Konoha. People have been hurting me, stabbing me, and even poisoning me, all because they think I might do the same as my so-called sensei did. They believed I would betray Konoha, and told him to destroy it. I lost all hope of ever being appreciated. That's until I saw the brat," Anko explained in pauses, as she remembered all the bad memories and tough times she had to deal with. "You mean Naruto, don't you?" Iruka asked. "Yes," Anko replied quietly. "Unlike me, I gave up all hope of ever being accepted when I was younger than him, but he never gave up no matter what. Despite all the odds in this village, he seems to never know the term, give up. He has the guts and strength to work hard to be accepted when I just simply gave up. To me, he's like me, just much different. He reminds me so much of myself when I was mistreated. And this may sound stupid for a Junin like me, but I look up to that brat. He's just as great a ninja as anyone, probably much greater. When he tried to run away, I couldn't let that happen. I couldn't let him run away over some crush he has for some girl. I had to save him. Overall, in other words, I may see that brat as a son. I have watched him grow in a village that despises him for thinking he's some demon that almost destroyed this village and killed lots of innocent people. I can't name how many times I had to save him from the mobs of villagers trying to kill him." Anko finished, leaving Uruka wide-eyed. So that's why you were so concerned about him. To you he's like you, just like he's like me. I lost my parents during the Kyuubi's attack. I was upset that happened. I always craved attention just like he did. Uruka added, feeling sorry for what he had said to Anko earlier on. If that's true, then aren't you the one that hates him like the idiots back at the village? Anko growled angrily, narrowing her eyes at Uruka. To be honest, at first I wanted to hate him and kill him. But when I saw him the first time he was just a child, I could never lay my fingers on somebody that innocent, despite the fact though he was the demon itself. After a while of thinking I wondered should I or should I not hate him? That was my question. I hated the demon for killing my parents, but Naruto isn't that thing. It took me a while till I realized that he's not a demon. I finally accepted him as a son, Uruka explained, which made Anko widen her eyes a little at his explanation. Look. I'm so sorry for what I said earlier. It's just that, the past few days were confusing. I'd never known that Naruto all this time was the last member of the Namikaze clan and the son of the fourth Hokage. Also, I have spoken to the killer of my parents during our battle. I was just so angry at it. For these few days everything in Konoha has been going down lately. Parents losing their kids because they distrust them for telling them Naruto is a demon due to the fact he has the Kyuubi within him, council men and women trying to get their hands on his fortune, and the increased assassination attempts on the poor boy. No one should ever suffer from all of that. Uruka finished as his expression changed to shame for what he had said to Anko earlier on, as Anko nodded in agreement. I know, Anko agreed. One thing I don't get is why he goes after that pink-haired brat anyway. It's been proven that she hated him before he ran away. Why did he go after her? I'll never know. Anko sighed, as she let her arm go and her expression changed to normal. It's love, Uruka said. What? Anko exclaimed, as she went wide-eyed. It's love. I have known Naruto for a long time. He doesn't have a crush on Sakura. I spoke to him after he came back from Tea Country. Uruka informed. Flashback. A day after the Tea Country mission. Locations. Konoha. Specific location. Ichiraku's ramen. Ah, that was good. Naruto cheered as he put his 12th bowl of ramen down on the table. Easy there, Naruto. You're a ninja, so you have to take care of yourself. Too much ramen is bad for your health, and my wallet. Uruka warned, as he smiled at the young genin. But Uruka-sensei, you have no idea how hard this mission has been. First I have to deal with that running asshole, not to mention another ninja who was trying to kill us. If it wasn't for me, Sasuke Tem and Sakura-chan would have been killed. Naruto explained, as he put his arms behind his head. So I heard. A lot has changed with you, Naruto. You used to be the dead last in the academy, and now you're one strong ninja. I am proud of you. Uruka said. Yeah, Naruto agreed as he smiled with his eyes and face about the good times he had lately. Naruto, could I ask you a question? Uruka asked. Yeah, Naruto replied. How's it been between you and Sakura lately? I have heard you got along fine with Sasuke, so how's it been with Sakura? Uruka asked. How's it been? Well, it's been pretty different, but not the good type. Sakura-chan still hits me, and casts me aside, and when I tried to perform CPR on her back at Tea Country, she punched me in the face. But still, I love her. Naruto explained. Uruka just narrowed his eyes at Naruto before asking, Naruto, shouldn't you move on? I'm pretty sure Sakura could be just a crush. Naruto just turned his head to look at Uruka. I don't give up on her because she's not a crush. I spoke to her. Naruto informed. What? Exclaimed Uruka. How? Uruka asked. Well, I kinda transformed into Sasuke Tem. After that, I went to see Sakura-chan. I asked her, of course, in Sasuke Tem's form about how she felt about me. She replied that I was annoying and how she thinks I don't care about her feelings. But when she said feelings, I finally understood why I love her. To you, Aruka-sensei, she may be a crush, but in reality to me, I love her with all my heart, and I would do anything to make her happy, because that's my ninja way. Naruto simply replied, giving his usual smile to Aruka. Naruto, Aruka just said, while wide-eyed at this. He understands why Naruto loves her now. Usually if it were just a crush, people would just forget about her and move on. That's why Naruto never gave up on her. Aruka at that moment had finally realized that Naruto knows the meaning of love. He just hopes Sakura would understand just as Naruto does. Time skip. After Naruto's heritage was revealed, location, Konoha's hospital, specific location, Naruto's room. Aruka was just visiting Naruto for a while. He took a seat to Naruto's right side of the bed since the left was occupied by Sakura. Sakura was holding Naruto's left hand as tight as possible. She never lets go, hardly ever. Aruka had realized that Sakura hasn't moved away from Naruto for a while. He knows that she had finally understood Naruto's feelings after his attempt of defection. Sakura. Aruka called. Sakura turned her attention to Aruka. Yes, Aruka-sensei. Sakura asked. To be honest with you, Sakura, as your former sensei and teacher, I am a bit disappointed in you. I mean, you've been in the same team as Naruto for quite a while now. Sometimes he can be loud and arrogant, but you shouldn't have hurt him like that. Especially when he loves you. You've been with him for a while now and haven't realized that he loves you. Why? Aruka asked, which made Sakura look down on Naruto's bed in shame. I know, Aruka-sensei. I've been horrible to Naruto-kun. I can't believe it myself. The smartest girl in the academy couldn't see what my teammate sees in me, all because of a simple crush. Even though Ino's father had erased the time I rejected him before he left, I just know that it won't take back all the other times I have rejected him. He loved me for a long time, and yet I was too blind to see it. I should have never said or did any of that to Naruto-kun, especially that gift he wanted to give me. Sakura admitted, as a few tears from her eyes started to come out. Say, what sort of gift did Naruto want to give you anyway? Aruka asked, interested on what it was. He wanted to give me the Hokage's necklace, but I threw it at the edge of the bridge where we usually meet, but he caught it before it fell. Sakura replied, as her tears started to fall on Naruto's bed. This time Aruka was beyond shocked. He was upset with Sakura. The crystal the Hokage's necklace is made out of is one of the most rarest and beautiful crystals in all of the nations. It puts diamonds and jewels to shame. And yet she tried to throw it away because it was his gift for her. Sakura, how could you? Asked a shocked Aruka, disappointment in his voice. I know, Aruka-sensei. I was just so caught up in trying to get a date with Sasuke that I didn't realize what sort of gift Naruto-kun has given me. I felt so bad after hearing this was the Hokage's necklace I tried to throw. Sakura replied, as she held Naruto's hand tighter. Aruka sighed before changing his expression to smiling at Sakura. At least you've finally learned your lesson. And I'm pretty sure that you will try everything in your power to make up for all the tough times you gave to Naruto, right? Aruka asked. Sakura just smiled at Aruka with her eyes smiling, of course. I'll make Naruto-kun the happiest ninja in the village. No, the world. Sakura replied, her tears stopping and drying off. Aruka just simply smiled at Sakura as he was happy that she finally learned her lesson. Flashback ends. That's why Naruto never gave up on her. It's love. He understands what it is and loves Sakura deeply. Haven't you loved anyone in your life? Aruka asked, narrowing his eyes at Anko. Anko just turned her back at Aruka before replying, PFF'd. Love. That's nothing but a cover, something people can wear as a cloak to gain others' trust. And as soon as you gain their trust, guess what happens? They betray you and leave you to rot. Trust me, there is no such thing as this. Love, it's just a stealth tactic. What are you talking about? Asked a shocked Aruka. I'm talking about my former sensei, about how he promised me he will always be there for me, to take care of me, and to love me like a daughter. Before I figured I was being used as one of his lab rats to gain him power. That's what I'm talking about. Anko replied, as she turned her direction back to Uruka. So I guess Konoha isn't the only thing Orochimaru betrayed, right? Uruka asked, knowing the answer she may reply. Yes. That bastard betrayed me in this village. Then he left me here all alone to suffer by the hands of the villagers, all because I'm his former student. Anko replied, anger rising in her voice, to be honest, when I see him again. This time, and not next time, I'll kill him. I'll give him real pain. Pain that I've suffered for a long time. Anko added, her fist shaking in anger. You're wrong. Love isn't some stealth tactic or cloak you could wear to gain others' trust. Love is something people can't control, it is what makes us human beings. Look at Naruto, for example. If people had never loved him, I don't know what could have happened to him, he could have ended up like Gaara or worse. Love is something people need. Including Naruto. What you're saying is completely wrong, you have no idea what it is. You're just scared that someone might betray you, don't you? Uruka asked in a stern voice, trying to get answers from Anko. You have no idea what it means. Anko just snapped at Uruka. To you, yes. It means something else. Something much more, something that helps people in their lives. But love is something had ruined it. I trusted him. I even loved him like a father, and spat at my face and left me behind like I was trash. Something that was useful that had just turned useless. You have no idea what it means to be. Anko was cut off by Uruka. Alone. I know what it means to be alone, which is why I see Naruto as a son to me. To me, like you, as I said earlier on, he's just like me. I lost my parents the day the Kyuubi attacked. I craved attention, I wanted people to recognize me, I wanted people to see me as a great ninja. Like him, I was always fooling around. To be honest, your method of love isn't the way to go. People like your former sensei go down that path. Because of love, I wasn't always alone. I had friends, people who I called a family, like the third Hokage. Without love, who knows what I might have turned out to be. Uruka explained, letting Anko go wide-eyed, and hang her head in shame. If that's what you really think about love, well then I feel sorry for you. With that said, Uruka left the training fields, leaving an shamed Anko behind. Location: Hokage's tower, specific location, Hokage's office. Damn paperwork. Cursed a pissed off and angry Tsunade. Ever since Naruto's heritage has been released, lots of the council people have been requesting their daughters to marry Naruto. Which just made some extra work for Tsunade to deal with. Not only that, but there was more since she had rejected the other 2,685 contracts. And they never seemed to stop. While Tsunade was doing her paperwork, there were a few knocks on the door. Knock, 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 knock. May I come to Tsunade-sama? Asked a voice that sounded like Kakashi's. Only if you don't have any box loads of paperwork with you. So I'm running away from this village. Tsunade growled angrily. Kakashi just walked through the door, eyes smiling. No paperwork this time. Kakashi's eyes then narrowed at her. I just came to make a request that we move Naruto from the hospital to his apartment. Kakashi informed, a lot of people have been trying to kill him lately, and the attacks just keep on coming. We need to hide him, his apartment will be the last place they find him. Kakashi explained. Tsunade sighed. It was true, people have been trying to kill Naruto a lot more times than usual. Even the Junins are finding it hard to protect him, and they have even been on missions to protect the Fire Daimyo, but it was never as difficult as protecting Naruto was. You're probably right, Kakashi. I'll have some of my Anbu take Naruto to his apartment while you and the rest of them distract the villagers. Pretend he's still in his room. Tsunade ordered. Kakashi nodded. With that said, Kakashi walked out of the room, leaving a frustrated Tsunade behind to do her paperwork. Time skip. A few minutes later, location, Naruto's apartment. Sakura just heard from the hospital by Tsunade that Naruto was transferred to his apartment. She was smiling, walking towards her destination to see him. I wonder what Naruto-kun's apartment looks like, Sakura thought, as she went up the stairs to where Naruto lives. Stop, ordered one of the Anbu who were using a transformation jutsu to blend in the walls outside of Naruto's apartment. This apartment is off limits to anyone who tries to enter and vandalize this place. Our orders came from the Hokage herself. The Anbu explained. Oh, well, you see, I just want to see my teammate Naruto-kun. I'm a member of Team 7, so is he. And according to the rules, team members and friends are allowed to visit them when they are in hiding. Sakura explained. The Anbu nodded and let her in. At first sight it looked like an ordinary apartment. But actually it was quite a mess, and cold. There was no heater, hardly any clean tables since they were all scratched, and on top of that his bed was all messy and dirty due to people vandalizing it. Sakura smelled some new paint and looked at one of Naruto's walls, to rub it, which was quite easy, despite being new paint. She saw handwriting that said words like, "Death to the demon brat," or, "Demon's nest." Sakura gasped at all of this. This has been happening to Naruto for a long time, and all because he has a demon within him. Turning her attention away from the writing, Sakura saw a sleeping Naruto on his bed. She smiled at seeing how comfortable and peaceful he looked. To be honest, she felt tired herself as well. Naruto-kun, Sakura said, as she decided to jump in his bed and lay next to him, I hope you wake up soon, Naruto-kun. Because, I love you. With that said, she kissed Naruto's cheek and wrapped her arms around him, closing her eyes slowly to get glimpses of her lover before she fell asleep. Location: Konoha, specific location, Naruto's apartment. A sound of a groan was heard. It was morning, by then people would always groan and wake up to start a new day of their lives. However, this groan was not heard of for the past 2 weeks. This groan belonged to Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. He has finally awakened. Ah man, what happened? All I remember was going to meet my team at the bridge then. Black. I'm out cold. What the hell happened anyway? Naruto thought as he stretched his whole body. Oh no. Damn it, no. Naruto thought as he just realized that he missed his chance with Sakura. Damn it. It was the anniversary of the day I met Sakura-chan. And now it's ruined, Naruto moaned, as he began to open his eyes slowly. However, he was stopped when he felt bandages on his eyes. What the? Naruto thought as he unwrapped the bandages around his eyes. At first his eyes were a little blurry. But soon he regained his vision. He looked down on himself to find out that he wasn't in his normal pajamas that he's usually in, but instead he's in hospital robes. How did this get on me? Naruto asked himself, as he decided to look under it. When he did that he realized that he was covered in bandages, his eyes widened at the sight of his body. His chest was completely filled with bandages. He was shocked, he didn't feel any pain when he was knocked out. When he touched it to feel how hurt it was, he felt extreme pain on his body, like he was on a mission or some sort. Ow! Exclaimed Naruto in pain, what the hell happened to me? He then felt his back hurt a little, so he decided to get back down on his bed. However, when he got back down he heard snoozing, someone who was sleeping. Naruto looked to his left, only to instantly go into total shock as he saw Sakura, the girl of his dreams, right next to him in his bed. He had dreams that this was happening. He decided to pinch himself and test that theory that he was still asleep. To his amazement, it wasn't a dream. It was reality. He touched her heart and brushed it lightly, and discovered this wasn't a genjutsu either. He wanted to wake her up and see if she was the real deal, but she seemed so comfortable and peaceful he decided not to. He smiled at her softly before realizing her arms were wrapped around him. Naruto laid back in bed to lift her arms and wrap them around his neck, while he wrapped his around her waist. He instantly blushed as he couldn't believe he was holding the girl he loves with all his heart. Sakura felt some movement on her, which caused her to wake up. She opened her eyes slowly, while Naruto widened his in slight fear that she may hurt him. But instead he saw her eyes widen in concern and sadness, as a few tears began to swell up in her jade eyes. Without warning, Sakura shot herself at Naruto, hugging him. "You're AWOC," she screamed happily, as a few of her tears fell on his bed. Naruto was beyond the word shock, as he was being hugged by Sakura. Instead of saying anything, he hugged her back, ignoring the shock. Sakura held Naruto as tight as possible, as his life depended on it. "Sakura-chan. What happened?" asked a shocked Naruto, as he and Sakura broke the hug. "Well, Sniff, how much do you remember? Do you remember anything?" she asked, as she rubbed off the tears in her eyes. "All I remember is that I was walking to where we would normally meet, you know. And suddenly, black, I wake up and I'm in pain from something." "What happened?" Naruto asked, with a confused look on his face. Yes, he doesn't remember. "Don't screw up, idiot. He's R and make sure he stays that way," cheered inner Sakura. "Well, you were coming to meet us. But you never came. We grew worried and tried to find you, only to find you surrounded by a mob of angry villagers beating you up. We managed to save you and Tsunade-sama arrested the mob and sent them to prison for a few weeks. When we found you, we took you to the hospital for you to recover. That's when Tsunade-sama told us your secret." Sakura lied, but managed to convince Naruto. "Secret? What are you talking about?" Naruto lied, as he began to panic. Sakura sighed, as she knew this was gonna happen. She took Naruto's hand and gave him a warm smile. "Don't worry, Naruto-kun. We don't hate you, and we never will hate you. You're not the demon that took my father's life. You're a great ninja, and a caring one at that. You are the only person that acknowledged me for who I was when we were little. Not the monster that tried to destroy this village." Her words sank into Naruto's skull, as Naruto wasn't panicked anymore, he was smiling softly at her now. However, he soon realized that she used the word kun at the end of his name and asked, "Are you really Sakura-chan? Because if you are, I need proof." Naruto asked. Sakura sighed, then put her smile on softly. "Naruto-kun, I remember when we first met, I was bullied by the girls as usual. When you came to save me, when you came you punched one of them, bit the group punched you till you were unconscious. I remember that I tried to take you to the hospital, only to be neglected by the doctors. So I had to take you to my house so my mom could treat your injuries. When we treated you, I loved you, I liked you, because you motivated me, Naruto-kun." Sakura explained. Naruto went wide-eyed. "You see. After we healed you, you said that you would become Hokage one day. I saw myself in you, Naruto-kun. Because people said I had a huge forehead and said I would never become a great ninja. But your determination saved me. I wanted to be popular. I wanted people to acknowledge me, so when I heard how popular Sasuke was in the village, I wanted him to recognize me so I would be popular as well. But I was going the wrong way. I threw the old self away and brought in a new one that forgot about her love for you and wanted someone who never will love her in." Sakura said, sadness in her voice. Naruto realized she didn't use the word kun in the end of Sasuke's name. "I really wanted Sasuke to recognize me. That he somehow turned into a crush. No, an obsession. I realize now that I never loved him but you. I was mean to you, and hated you because of the villagers' attitude towards you. I didn't want that. I was selfish beyond belief and I was wrong. Naruto-kun, I'm so sorry for all that I have done to you, but sorry won't change the past. But I want to be your girl if that's okay with you." Sakura asked, as a few tears started to emerge from her eyes. Naruto was wide-eyed for a few seconds before gaining a soft smile and pulled Sakura into a hug. "Now that's the Sakura-chan I remember," Naruto said softly as he hugged Sakura tightly. She hugged him back. The new Sakura is dead, Naruto-kun. I'm the old one. The one that loved you for who you are. I promise Naruto-kun. I won't tease you, hurt you or humiliate you ever again. I won't join the villagers again, no matter what, even if they come after me, that's a promise of a lifetime. Sakura promised, but she was pushed back by Naruto when he looked at her face to face. No, it's our promise of a lifetime, Sakura-chan. Naruto gave his usual smile to Sakura, which she smiled back at. Oh Naruto-kun, Sakura said, as she and Naruto pushed themselves in for a kiss. What felt like seconds felt like minutes or hours to them. They never did want to let go of each other, they meant the world to each other, they never did want to leave each other's sight. After the kiss, they pulled each other away. They looked at each other's eyes and continued gazing into one another. They loved each other so much. Naruto got close to Sakura's right ear and asked, "Does this mean that it's official?" "Baka. It does. We kissed, didn't we? And I said that I'm your girl. So yeah, it makes it official," Sakura replied, as she and Naruto moved in each other for another kiss. The two soon backed away for a bit, to look at each other's eyes again. They stared for a while before Naruto had spoken. "Sakura-chan, I guess since we are boyfriend and girlfriend now, I guess we can start dating," Naruto said, as he started to get off of the bed, only to be stopped when he felt pain in his lower left rib. Naruto groaned in pain. "Naruto-kun, be careful, you're still hurt," Sakura informed as she was worried for Naruto as she helped him back on bed with a concerned face. "Give the wounds some time to heal, Naruto-kun. Until then, I'll watch over you," she said as she comfortably laid Naruto on the bed. "What about your mom? She wants to know where you are. She may be worried sick about you," Naruto asked, as he was concerned for his newly named girlfriend. "I'll tell her what I've been up to. But for now I want to be with you, Naruto-kun," Sakura said, as she covered her and Naruto with the cover and kissed each other before falling asleep. Location: Uchiha District. Specific location: Sasuke's room. Mind: Sasuke. "Where am I? What is this place?" a shocked Sasuke asked, as he turned left and right multiple times. Sasuke was at a place which was dark, very, very dark. Nothing was there but pitch black. All he could see was just his pajamas he was in, which consisted of him wearing a light blue t-shirt and white shorts, wearing no shoes at all. "Where are you?" "Well, let me explain," a voice said. "Who are you and where are?" demanded Sasuke, as he was prepared to attack and activate his Sharingan eyes. Only they couldn't. Calm down, you'll waste your breath, and give me a headache," the voice said again. Slowly, the voice began to emerge into a figure about a few meters away from Sasuke. He looked like a man about 40 years of age. He had a black long cloak with 2 white commas at each sleeve. He had white hair and eyes, his skin was dark shadow. Think of an alternative Zetsu. He was holding a long white staff with the yin and yang emblem encrusted on the top. "Who are you and why can't I use my Sharingan?" Sasuke asked in a warning tone. "To answer your second question, you can't use your eyes because you are in your mind. And don't worry, even though you tried to turn them on and failed, you won't have them on in the real world. Here, anything that happens to you won't affect you physically in the real world," he explained, "and to answer your first question, my name is Yang," he informed. "Yang? Wait, if you're supposed to be Yang, then where is Yin?" Sasuke asked, wide-eyed at the person in front of him. "You will see her in the future. But now we have more important matters to attend to," Yang explained. "Her?" Sasuke exclaimed. "What are you and why am I here?" Sasuke asked, as he lowered his fighting stance to listen to what Yang has to say. "What am I? A spirit, someone who has been passed down by many Uchiha heirs for many generations. Like your father, I was his spirit, who guided him to every way to become the man he once is. Or were. Seeing how you're the Uchiha heir, I believe that you're the next body I'm supposed to guide. Do keep this a secret though. I'm sure not many people would believe you. Yang explained. Wait, I'm the second born of my mother and father. What about Itachi? Sasuke asked, as he silently growled at the name of his brother. I only passed on to those that are worthy of my guidance. Itachi is not. I have chosen you since you're worthy of my guidance. Yang explained. Worthy of what? Sasuke asked, dumbfounded. In time, Sasuke, you shall discover that reason. As did your grandfather and your father had, as well as the other Uchihas I had guided throughout their lives. But for now I have a little chat with you. Yang explained. One more question. How long have you been in my mind? And why didn't you talk to me sooner? Sasuke asked, amazed by Yang and wide-eyed. I was passed on to you since the day you were born. Same with the past Uchihas as well. And I didn't contact you because my soul had to bind into your mind. Most Uchihas would usually get the chance to talk to me at a later age than you. Around 15 or 20 to be exact. I only met you early is because of the Kyuubi's chakra, it accelerated my binding speed to your mind. And my origins is a long tale, but I'll explain that later. We have something important to take care of. Yang explained, as he narrowed his eyes at Sasuke. And that would be? Sasuke asked with a serious look on his face. Revenge. We need to talk about it. To put it simple, give up. Yang replied simply. What? What do you mean give up? Asked an angry Sasuke, as he did not like Yang's reply. Sasuke, I can tell you're mad at him because of what he had done to your clan. But you must understand that revenge isn't the path to go. Trust me, I was in many Uchiha's minds, even those that tried to get revenge for their dead friends and family members. Those people are the ones that turned traitor or died trying to get revenge, making others' hearts pain from their deaths. Overall, Sasuke, revenge is defiantly the wrong path to go down at. Which is why you must give it up. Yang explained to Sasuke, but Sasuke grew mad at this and he didn't like Yang's explanation one bit. What do you mean give up? I'm going to kill him. I'm going to gather enough power to salute him and collect his head for the clan. Sasuke shouted back in rage. And where would you get this power from, Sasuke? Orochimaru. Sasuke, he lost the ability to use ninjutsu by the third's hands before he died. If you agree to that, you'll end up by his hands when he takes your body. Many people can see it, Sasuke, even you can. Orochimaru is out there somewhere and he's planning to take your body because of your Sharingan. Which is why you must give up revenge. Yang explained to Sasuke again, but it didn't have any effect on him. Then I'll kill Orochimaru when he tries to take my body. I'll make sure of that. Sasuke growled back. Even so, you still have no idea of the dangers outside of the village. What if you die? Revenge isn't the only goal you wish to see as reality, Sasuke. What about rebuilding the Uchiha clan? If you die, then Itachi will be the one who revives the clan. Not you. Yang added. Sasuke didn't say a thing, all he just did was hang his head down, as Yang's words started to take effect on him. It was true, if Sasuke died, Itachi would have been the one to rebuild the Uchiha clan, something Sasuke couldn't afford to do. Overall, Sasuke, there are people here who respect you like you, and somebody who loved you but doesn't realize it yet. How do you think they'll react if you left? Your friends will be devastated, Naruto would be broken and Hinata would be heartbroken. Yang informed, as Sasuke went confused when he mentioned Hinata's name. Hinata, what does she have to do with any of that? Asked a shocked Sasuke. Yang just sighed before replying, so you really don't remember, do you? I guess I'll have to show you. The day you had a crush on Hinata. Sasuke went wide eyes instantly as Yang had tapped his staff onto the ground to have a huge flash of bright light all around them. Sasuke shielded his eyes while Yang didn't, instead he just waited till something came up. Soon the flash was gone, Sasuke slowly opened his eyes and looked around. He saw that he was in the Ninja Academy, the place where he learned what he knows today. The place that taught him right. The place that was his school. The Ninja Academy. A confused Sasuke asked. Not really. More of a memory of the Ninja Academy. What you see here, Sasuke, is just an illusion, just the memory you have of this place. And this dates back a few years ago when you were 8 years old. I'm pretty sure you remember this day. Yang replied. No, you don't mean the Uchiha massacre, exclaimed Sasuke, as he was horrified he was on the same day his clan had died. Yang just simply nodded, as Sasuke began to shiver in fear of him seeing all the members of his clan die right in front of him again. Why did you bring me here? Demanded Sasuke, as his voice was mixed with sadness, rage and fear. Because this was the day you met Hinata. The day you finally discovered love. And the day you lost it to your vengeance. Yang answered as he tapped his staff on the ground again, sending them at the playground of the academy. There Sasuke could see kids playing around and having fun. School was over and kids were laughing and enjoying themselves. Sasuke looked around and saw his 8-year-old self. He was smiling, his young self was smiling and laughing like the other kids were. Running around the playground joyfully. He noticed that his younger self was wearing his usual high-color shirt, and white shorts. But mostly his face features remained the same. Is that me? Sasuke asked, as he was shocked to see his younger self. Yes it is. You see Sasuke, before the massacre, you were like the other kids. Smiling, happy and always laughing. What you're about to see, is something you have forgotten because of your vengeance against Itachi. With that said, Yang had sent himself and Sasuke a little further more in time to see Sasuke in the forest beating up a bunch of boys. What the? Sasuke exclaimed, as the image began to be more clear. In the scene, Sasuke had beaten up a bunch of boys who were picking on an innocent little girl with dark blue hair who was curled up in a ball behind Sasuke crying. Hey, what's the big idea, man? One of the boys shouted. The young Sasuke was holding a stick which was used by the boys to torment the little girl and trying to give her pupils in her eyes. As soon as the young Sasuke heard the boy shout, he snapped the stick in half, causing the boy and his friends to gasp in fear and sweat drop. If you ever mess with her again, I'll kill you, the young Sasuke threatened, as the boys started to scream and run away. Sorry, we'll never try and give her pupils again, one of the boys shouted, as he started crying and running away. Sasuke just dropped the stick and turned back to the little girl who was still crying. He walked towards her and lifted her chin up to get a look on her face. To be honest, young Sasuke kinda blushed lightly at the beautiful face of the young girl. She had pale pupilless eyes, and fair skin. Her hair was long on the sides but the back of her hair was cut short. Hey, are you okay? Young Sasuke asked in concern. Why yeah, sob sniff. They wanted to poke my eyes. To give them pupils. Thank you for saving me. The little girl who looked a year younger than the young Sasuke thanked. No problem. What's your name anyway? Young Sasuke asked, as he had a soft smile on his face. My name, the girl asked. Sasuke nodded in reply, well, my name is Hinata Hyuga. The girl now identified as Hinata replied. Location. Hyuga compound, specific location. Hinata's bedroom, Hinata's mind. Where am I? Asked an afraid Hinata, as she looked around left and right multiple times like crazy. She was somewhere similar to where Sasuke was, but the entire area was white instead of black. Hinata was wearing her usual pajamas, which consisted of wearing a white shirt with no bra and black underwear. If a man was anywhere near Hinata, they would have a blush and nosebleed instantly. Do not be afraid of Hinata. This place is just your mind. You are here so I can speak with you, informed a female voice. Hinata looked around everywhere, only to find behind her a girl dressed in white robes about 30 years in age, holding a white staff with a black comma on the crest and her sleeves with 2 black commas. Her eyes were black while her skin was flash white. Who are you? Hinata asked, as she blushed while pulling her shirt down to cover up her underwear. My name is Hinata, is Ying, and I'm here to guide you. The woman now identified as Ying replied. Ying-san. Where am I? Asked a nervous Hinata. As I explained myself before, Hinata. This is your mind and I am here to speak to you. Secondly, if you're thinking why am I here, I'm here to guide you just like the other Hyuga heirs to the Hyuga clan, Hinata. Ying explained. But father doesn't want me to be the heir. He says I'm weak, pathetic, and soft. Hinata informed as a few tears started to form in her eyes, while hanging her head down in shame. Ying walked towards Hinata and rubbed the tears off of her eyes and lifted her chin up, saying, Do not upset yourself, Hinata. Sometimes in life we cannot be what people expect us to be, sometimes we have to accept it, or we'll never get on with our lives. Even though you're not the heir to the clan, I still see a great ninja inside you. You're worthy of my guidance, either you're clan heir or not. Usually I guide the heirs, but in this case, Hinata, you're special. She gave Hinata a soft smile. I'm special, Ying-san? Asked a shocked Hinata. She's never been special before, with the expectancy of her status as an Hyuga clan member. Ying just simply nodded before replying, Indeed, Hinata, indeed. I've heard you had a few troubling feelings with the last Uchiha, may I ask what has been bothering you? Ying asked. Well, ever since we got Naruto-kun back from trying to leave. I've had a bit of strange feelings for Sasuke-kun. I don't know why, but I think I love him. Hinata explained. But I love Naruto-kun. Hinata objected, but Ying could sense that Hinata was in denial. Then why do you care a lot about Sasuke, Hinata? You've been having some strange feelings for him ever since he gave you that hug and chat when you were at the lake looking for Naruto. If you want an answer, I can show them to you. With that said, Ying tapped her staff onto the ground and suddenly the entire area was glowing white. Hinata shielded her eyes from the light. Once she opened them and released her arms from her sight, she was at the grounds of the academy. Eeeeepp. Hinata shouted, as she instantly curled herself in a ball to hide her lower body. Ying chuckled for a bit before saying, Not to worry, Hinata. This is just your memory, not reality. If people see you, they won't know that you're here. All of this has already happened in Hinata, and this is the academy 4 years ago. 4 years ago? Why? Hinata asked as she stood up from the ground. Because Hinata, this is the time that you actually had a crush on Sasuke. Ying replied. But I've never had a crush on Sasuke-kun. Really? Hinata objected. Trust me, Hinata. This is the day you've just forgotten about it. Ying said, as they suddenly moved from the entrance of the academy to the forest near the academy playground. There Hinata could see her young self, about 7 years old, curled up in a ball crying while 3 boys were laughing at her, saying they want to give her pupils with a stick they're carrying. Her young self was smaller than she was. She wore a purple bright kimono that went all the way down to the ground, and wrapped around her stomach was a blue dark band that keeps the kimono in place. Her kimono was all wet and salty because of the tears she poured from her eyes by the bullies. Please sob sniff I'm sorry. The young Hinata apologized, while crying in her dress. Ha. Sorry for what? This girl is funny, she just says sorry all the time for no reason whatsoever. One of the boys laughed. I know. You Hyugas think you so special because of your dojutsu you have. My father came back home one day and said he had a bad day with your father bossing him around like he's Hokage. One of them added. Yeah, and I heard you all think that we're some kind of second-class citizens and you're first because of your heritage. The other added. Please leave me alone. The young Hinata begged. Like we will. We're just helping you, that's all. We're just going to give you Hyugas some pupils. I've always wondered what they would look like with those big eyes. One of the boys said, who was holding a stick, started to walk up and pulled his hand out to grab Hinata with. Hinata closed her eyes and prepared for the worst to come. Only it didn't. All the young Hinata heard was someone grabbing the kid's hand, she believed. Hey, what are you? He couldn't finish that sentence as he was punched in the face. Punch. The boy was sent to the other boys who caught him but fell to their butts. The young Hinata looked up and saw a boy with black duck-ass hair, wearing a high-collared dark blue shirt and white shorts. On the back of his shirt she could see that there was the Uchiha crest imprinted on his shirt. She looked down on his hand to see he was holding the stick one of the boys was holding. She couldn't tell his facial features since he had his back turned towards her. "Hey, what's the big idea, man?" one of the boys shouted. As soon as Hinata's savior heard the boy shout, he snapped the stick in half, causing the boy and his friends to gasp in fear and sweat drop. "If you ever mess with her again, I'll kill you," the young Hinata's savior threatened, as the boys started to scream and run away. "Sorry, we'll never try and give her pupils again," one of the boys shouted, as he started crying and running away. The young Hinata saw that the other two boys followed him crying for their parents. The young Hinata then put her head on her knees and started to sob again. She was ashamed that she was weak and had to let someone save her who was nearly her age. I remember this, Ying-san. I remember what happened today," Hinata informed, as she went wide-eyed and started to remember what had happened on this day. "If so, who do you think saved you?" Ying asked, as she smiled at Hinata, happy that she's remembering. I don't know really. That's the one thing I can't remember about Ying-san," Hinata replied. Her voice was filled with sadness that she couldn't reply. "That's okay, Hinata. You'll see soon," Ying informed as she patted Hinata on the shoulder, which made her calm down for a bit. Hinata then turned her attention back to the scene, when she saw the boy walking towards her younger self. "Hey, are you okay?" the savior asked in concern. "Why yeah," sob sniff. "They wanted to poke my eyes. To give them pupils. Thank you for saving me," the young Hinata replied, thanking her savior. "No problem. What's your name anyway?" the savior asked, as he had a soft smile on his face. My name," the young Hinata asked. Sasuke nodded in reply. "Well, my name is Hinata Hyuga," the young Hinata replied. "That's a beautiful name. My name is Sasuke Uchiha," the savior, now identified as Sasuke, informed. "Sasuke-kun," Hinata screamed in surprise. "With Sasuke? Hinata?" A shocked Sasuke screamed. "Wait, I don't understand. I hardly remember this up until now. I remember I saved her from those fools. How did I forget about this time?" a disbelieved Sasuke asked. "Because Sasuke, as I said before, this is the day that the Uchiha massacre happened. When you saw your clan die, all this was forgotten and you mainly focused on revenge. Pushing everything to the sidelines." Yang replied. Thank you for saving me, Sasuke-kun," the young Hinata thanked again. "No problem, Hinata-chan. You know you're really cute, you know that," the young Sasuke completed, as he and the young Hinata blushed lightly. "Let me help you up," the young Sasuke said as he given a hand to the young Hinata and pulled her up. Thank you," the young Hinata thanked, as she was pulled up by the young Sasuke. "So what happened anyways? Why did those bakas try and hurt you?" the young Sasuke asked, in concern for the young Hinata. The young Hinata looked down with sad eyes before replying, "It's because I'm Hyuga. The other kids are jealous of me because I live in the main household of the clan. They see me as someone important to the village. They pick on me because they're jealous that they're not more important than me," the young Hinata explained. "They also pick on me because of my father. My father, he's one of the councilmen on the Shin Shinobi Council. He finds out clan greater than any other in Konoha. That's why they pick on me, because my father doesn't see their parents any importance to him," the young Hinata explained again. "They said that my father never cares for any of them. Because they're not important to us, they're just people with no importance to us at all," the young Hinata finished. "Is that why they hate you?" the young Sasuke asked. Hinata just simply nodded. "What about your father? Surely he can help you to deal with them and stop it?" the young Sasuke asked. My father doesn't help me with this. He says I have to deal with all of this on my own, if I don't then I'm weak. The young Hinata replied, as she hung her head down in shame. Weak. But you can't be weak. I heard from my brother Itachi Nei-san that Hyugas are strong as Uchihas. So I think your father is just underestimating you. The young Sasuke guessed. The young Sasuke looked at the young Hinata for a while, before the young Hinata broke the silence. What are you looking at? She asked while blushing. Nothing important. Just a beautiful girl, that's all. He smirked, causing the young Hinata to blush. Beautiful. Hinata had never been called that beforehand. She'd been called a disgrace or pupilless, but never beautiful. Even if she asked the branch clan members, they found it as an order to call her beautiful, without giving their personal opinion about her. Do you really think I'm beautiful? The young Hinata asked shyly. Young Sasuke just simply nodded in response. Thank you. Sass Sasuke-kun. The young Hinata thanked. You're welcome. Hey Hinata-chan. Do you wanna play with me tomorrow? The young Sasuke asked shyly. The young Hinata was shocked, but then she replied shyly, sure Sasuke-kun. Good. See you tomorrow then. The young Sasuke started to walk away, before the young Hinata decided to give the young Sasuke a kiss on the cheeks, which made both him and the young Hinata blush. Bye-bye Sasuke-kun. Hinata waved. By the time the young Sasuke left, the young Hinata fainted, with her whole head burning red. Soon, the entire area had been turned back to nothing but a black pitch. So you see Sasuke. This was the day you had a crush on the Hyuga girl. However, you forgot about this when Yang was cut off by Sasuke. Because of Itachi. My vengeance against my brother had driven it away. Sasuke confessed, as he had finally remembered while hanging his head in shame. Exactly. May I ask one more thing? What were Itachi's purpose for killing off the clan? Surely there must have been a purpose. I would wait and see for myself for a little bit later till I would get the chance to talk to him. Yang explained. Hinata-chan, why did I push you away? What have I done? Sasuke asked, in a sad tone. With Hinata. I can't. How did I forget? Hinata asked herself, while hanging her head in shame that she had forgotten about this day. Do not blame Hinata. It was your father's doing. He heard about this affair with the Uchiha and immediately forced you never to speak to him again. Every time you get near Sasuke, Naruto is also close, so you must have gotten the two mixed. Ying explained, as she tried to calm Hinata down. Why did father do this to me? Is the clan's rules really I am important that he would erase his daughter's crush away? Why? Hinata asked herself, as she tried to hold back the tears that were coming out of her eyes. With Sasuke. Why? I guess Itachi was always getting the better of me. I should have never focused on him more than anything else. I'm pretty sure Hinata-chan won't remember either. Sasuke guessed, as he realized he put the chan at the end of Hinata's name, but didn't care. I wouldn't be sure of that Sasuke. Yang said with a smirk on his face. Sasuke looked at Yang in awe of what he meant. If you are sure of what you said, why did you hug her, and why didn't she stop it? The answer, Sasuke, will come to you eventually. Yang advised. I guess I can let go of vengeance just for a little while. Sasuke guessed. Good Sasuke, I have to go now, your time is now up. I have fulfilled my duties at the moment. Yang said, as he turned away from Sasuke and started to walk into the darkness, before Sasuke grabbed his arm. Will we meet again? Sasuke asked. In time when you need me, Sasuke. In time when you need me. With that said, Yang walked into the darkness, disappearing until the next time the two meet. Location: Uchiha compound. Specific location: Sasuke's room. Sasuke woke up and looked around his room to see he was back from his mind. He checked the time to see it was 3 a.m. in the morning. Maybe tomorrow I can try and go out with Hinata-chan. If she's willing to go. Sasuke then went back to bed to sleep, however found it difficult to sleep when his thoughts were filled with Hinata. With Hinata, the entire area had turned back to the way it was after the memory, back to a white blank area without anyone or anything besides Hinata and Ying. Still, I don't think Sasuke-kun would want to be with me now since I had to forget about our talk. Hinata said in a sad tone. I'm not so sure about Hinata. If he didn't, why did he hug you? Why did he want to help you to stop crying? Ying asked, which put Hinata in realization when she remembered what happened with her and Sasuke 2 weeks ago. I think I made my point. Ying smirked in achievement, but dropped it when she turned her back. I'm sorry, Hinata. But I must go now. Ying informed. Will I see you again? Hinata asked, as she was drying off the tears she cried. In time, Hinata. In time when you need me. With that said, Ying disappeared into the whiteness of the area. Location: Hyuga compound. Specific location: Hinata's room. Hua, gasped awoken Hinata, as she looked around her room to see she had woken up from her mindscape. She looked down and was in deep thought, as she was thinking, should she ask Sasuke out? Should I go ask Sasuke-kun tomorrow to go out? She asked herself, and immediately agreed and would ask Sasuke out, before she went back to bed with Sasuke in her head. Location: Hokage's tower. Specific location: Tsunade's office. Tsunade was working extra hard tonight because of all the requests that were still being sent to her for Naruto to marry one of the council's daughters, even though she had rejected so many so far. And that wasn't the worst case. Due to the younger population distrusting the older population, the younger population decided to move away from their parents who told them that Naruto was a demon. She sighed in frustration. Next to her was Shizune, who watched by her master's side in case she needed help, or Sake. Damn council just won't take no for an answer. Tsunade growled. Tsunade-sama, may I ask something? Shizune asked politely. Go ahead, replied Tsunade. Yesterday with the doctor, he said something about Sakura's father being the one known as Salamander. Who is he? Shizune asked in curiosity. Ah, Salamander. I remember him. He was always the hot-headed one. Salamander, Shizune is what they call him. His real name is Kan Haruno. Note: Kan is flame in Japanese term, or was. Tsunade explained. He was one of the strongest shinobi that ever lived. He was in pair with Minato back when they were alive. Usually people with chakra elements are born with 2, when others are born with 3, but those are the rare types but not the only ones. There are even people with 1 chakra element. Tsunade added. 1. But that's impossible, isn't it? Shizune exclaimed. No, it's not. People can have 1 chakra element, but they're so rare no one hardly believes any of them has 1. Tsunade explained. What was his chakra element? Shizune asked in curiosity. His chakra element was on fire. He was mostly good with it. In fact, he was the one that had a huge effect on the will of fire. His fighting techniques and battle skills had proven to everyone that the will of fire was strong in shinobi. Even his hair would be on fire like his whole body would. That was the most famous technique anyone had seen. He called it fire body. Tsunade explained. And what happened to him? Shizune asked. Well, the day after the Kyuubi attack he was found dead lying on his stomach on the ground in the forest outside of the village. No one knows exactly what had happened, but medics had seen that he was scratched on his back. They were deep and there wasn't just one but a lot. Their best guess was that Kyuubi killed him. And of course it made most shinobi hate Naruto because he contains the killer of Sakura's father. Tsunade finished. So that's why he tried to kill him. That's why the doctor stopped himself from killing Sakura for a while. She's the daughter of a great shinobi. Shizune summarized in a quiet voice, loud enough for Tsunade to hear. Tsunade simply nodded before ordering, yeah, that's how it happened. Now, Shizune brought me some sake. And, there. Good as new. A doctor commented, as he pulled the bandages slowly off of Naruto. It's been at least a whole day and Naruto was already healed by the fox, despite being sealed inside Naruto with an extra seal on him. During the time Naruto was healing, Sakura was by his side for a long time, and didn't leave once. Except when she had to visit her mother to tell her what she's been up to. Naruto was half naked on the doctor's table, with his upper body revealing itself. He was smiling at the fact that the pain from an angry mob had caused him. But he was used to that by now, so it didn't really matter to him anymore. As soon as the doctor said he was done, Naruto got down from the table and put his oversized orange jacket on. Once he came through the doors, he saw Sakura right outside, all happy that he's in good health. "See, I'm fine, Sakura-chan. I guess now we can go on a date since we're officially boyfriend and girlfriend now, huh?" Naruto chuckled, as Sakura hugged him, with him hugging her back. "I guess we can do, Naruto-kun. Where should we go?" Sakura asked him, while giving a soft smile at him. "A surprise, I wanted to take you for a while now. Just meet me at my apartment at 7 o'clock and I'll take you." With that said, Naruto and Sakura kissed each other on the lips, then waved goodbye. Location: Team 7's training grounds. As usual, Sasuke was training at the training grounds, getting stronger. But he couldn't concentrate on his training after his talk with Yang in his mind. He couldn't get Hinata out of his mind, he just couldn't. He swore after training he'll ask her out. But what was unknown to him was that Goanna came much earlier than that. Sasuke couldn't put his finger on it but felt a presence, like someone was spying on him. So instead of throwing a kunai, he just told them to come out. "Alright, I know you're there. Come on out," Sasuke called, as he saw Hinata come out of the woods. "So sorry, Sasuke-kun, I. Hinata was cut off by Sasuke. "That's alright. If you want something, just come out and ask." "So what do you want?" Sasuke asked. Hinata tapped her fingers together. Well, I just wanted to tell you that Naruto-kun has finally awoken from his coma, Sasuke-kun. Hinata replied, shyly. "I know. Took the dope long enough. It's been too quiet in the village ever since he tried to leave. And here I thought I would love some peace and quiet," Sasuke said, as he walked towards Hinata, staring at her face to face. "Hey. Hinata-chan, I need to ask you something," Sasuke informed, shyly. I need to ask you something as well. But you go first," Hinata offered, as she realized Sasuke used the chan at the end of her name. "Okay. Well, I don't know how to put this, but maybe you would want to go out or something?" Sasuke asked her shyly, not finding the right words to say to her. Hinata was shocked and blushed furiously after hearing his proposal. She took a deep breath in and out before replying, Sure, Sasuke-kun. "Oh, okay," Sasuke said, as he turned his head back from Hinata, blushing lightly. 7 o'clock then, don't be late," Sasuke informed. Well, you don't be late either," Hinata shouted, while blushing in embarrassment still. Sasuke snapped and also shouted, "Fine. But you better be wearing something nice than these clothes." "Same to you too." 7 o'clock, got it? Hinata shouted again. "Yeah, bye." Sasuke waved. "Bye." Hinata waved. Soon both genins left while completely blushing and embarrassed of what just happened. While Yin and Yang were snickering at the action they had pulled with each other. Ha 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 ha. Young love does change in time. Yang snickered, as he smirked, proud for the young Uchiha. "Shut up," Sasuke thought furiously, as Yang continued to snicker at him. Hey. You remind me a lot of your father when he was your age. Ah, those were the good times. Ying commented, at the now stiff and wobbly Hinata, who was struggling to stand up after what just happened. My father. With that thought, Hinata went back home to get dressed and ready for hers and Sasuke's date. Time skip. 7 p.m. Location: Naruto's apartment. Sakura was smiling lightly, as she walked through the village all happy she's finally gonna meet her boyfriend Naruto for her date. Strange, for a long time Naruto has been asking Sakura out, and she always rejected him because of Sasuke, but now she knows her true feelings. She's excited to meet Naruto at his place, and they'll be going whatever Naruto's surprise is. She was really excited to see Naruto. Sakura was wearing a light red sleeveless vest with the Haruno symbol on her stomach. She had long sleeve-like red on her arms that went close to her shoulders all the way to her hands. I have no idea what they are called. Sorry. She wore a light red skirt to go along with the vest. She still had her usual ninja shoes on. Instead of her headband, she had her old red bow she used to wear during her academy days. Think of Sakura at the ending of the first Naruto movie. I wonder what Naruto-kun will wear. I'm pretty sure it'll be something good. Sakura thought as she walked towards his apartment. It didn't take long before she came to his door, and was ready to knock, but the door opened suddenly by itself, and of course she saw Naruto was the one that opened it. Oh, hi Sakura-chan. I didn't know you were already here. I was gonna come to you. Naruto said excitedly, while giving his usual smile to Sakura. Sakura in response blushed lightly when she saw what he was wearing. To Sakura's surprise, he wasn't wearing his usual long orange coat and orange pants but was wearing a suit. A long, for his size fitting suit, that was dark orange. She saw he was wearing a black t-shirt, which didn't surprise her since most of Konoha's shops would kick him out or overcharge him, but she didn't mind as she liked what he was wearing. It made him look hot. And to her biggest surprise, Naruto didn't wear anything on his forehead, which she was happy about since she wanted to see his whole face including his forehead. She thought he looked cute without it on. So, where are we going? Sakura asked Naruto, as she grabbed his right arm, wrapping hers around it. We're going to the Golden Leaf restaurant, Sakura-chan. Naruto replied, with a huge smile on his face. But Naruto-kun, that place is really expensive. There's no way you have enough money to pay for that, especially after all the chores we've been doing for other people as our missions. Sakura reminded Naruto, as her face was filled with concern. That's okay. I've been saving for a while now. Naruto told Sakura, as Sakura smiled and laid her head down on Naruto's shoulders. Naruto then smiled back at her and started to walk to the restaurant with Sakura. Location: Hyuga compound. I hope I am doing the right thing. Hinata asked herself, as she adjusted herself to her mirror. Hinata was wearing a long light purple dress which matched her pale eyes and went all the way down to her knees. It was shoulderless, so it revealed a bit of her skin. She wore her ninja shoes. Hinata was nervous about this date. For a long time she had never gone on one with anyone beforehand, and this one was with an Uchiha, someone a Hyuga like herself is supposed to ignore. But she ignored Sasuke enough because of her father, and was planning to do this with him. Of course this was kept a secret since she knew her father would have never let Hinata go on a date with an Uchiha, so she had everything planned. Instead of letting Sasuke knock on her gate and door, Hinata had planned on sneaking out while Neji and Hanabi would keep this a secret for her. Neji didn't have a problem, only reason is because he wants Hinata to be happy, and he doesn't want her to be upset. He still felt guilty for all the times he had hurt her feelings before the Chunin exams finals with Naruto. Hanabi did what Hinata said. Her father didn't treat her well, exactly like her sister was treated by him. To her, Hinata was like her parental guardian, then an older sister to her. It didn't take long for Hinata to get ready, as she jumped through her window, then from rooftop to rooftop quietly, keeping the rest of the Hyugas from detecting her. After she sneaked out, she waited for Sasuke outside of her home. It didn't take long before Sasuke came by. With Hinata blushing lightly, of course. Sasuke was wearing a dark black suit over a white shirt. Given his status as an Uchiha, she knew he was rich just like she was with the rest of the Hyuga clan. Sasuke wasn't wearing his headband either, which came to Hinata's liking. She kinda liked to see him without it on. It made him look good. To no surprise, he was wearing his blue ninja shoes. Seems like everyone in Konoha wears them nowadays. So, where do you want to go? Sasuke asked Hinata, as the young Hyuga blushed lightly. Well, I'm not so sure, Hinata replied, shyly. Well, we're both dressed for this certain occasion, so I believe we should go to a restaurant, the Golden Leaf, perhaps. Sasuke suggested, as he took Hinata's hand. But isn't it expensive? Hinata asked shyly. Yes, it is. But remember, I'm an Uchiha and you are in Hyuga, two of the great clans of Konoha, so I believe we can spare the expense on my behalf. Sasuke replied, with a smirk. Sure. Hinata agreed. Both Hinata and Sasuke started to go towards the Golden Leaf restaurant, where they'll be dating. Location: Golden Leaf, with Naruto and Sakura. After getting registered by an unsure employee, both Naruto and Sakura were escorted by the waiter to their table. Once there, Sakura admired the view of the table. The restaurant was mostly dark like other great restaurants, with a red theme going on, and a large fish tank. Sakura's and Naruto's tables were beside a large fish tank with a blue light going on inside of it. Of course, this was expensive for Naruto, but he didn't care. He just spared no expense and sat at the table with Sakura at the other side. Naruto-kun, this place is amazing, Sakura complimented, her eyes widened in shock. True, I may have spent a little much, but this is exactly the place I wanted to take you out for a while now. Besides, I can tell you love it here. Naruto said. Sakura giggled, she knew he was right on that one. Yeah, Naruto-kun, I want to say that, I'm sorry. I've spent all this time chasing after Sasuke, only to find out he was just a friend to me. While you were out, I've taken some time thinking about all the things you've done for me. And I finally realized that you loved me when I realized that it wasn't Sasuke who came up to me at the bench when we graduated. I found out later on during your coma that it was you. I don't know anyone else who would call me Sakura-chan, the way you do, Naruto-kun. Sakura apologized. Naruto grabbed her hand and smiled. You don't have to be sorry, honest. I'm sure if I were you I would probably do the same. I'm over all that for a while now. I'm just glad you've finally realized it was me in a transformation jutsu, and not Sasuke. Naruto said with a smile. I have a quick question about Naruto-kun. It was just the day we graduated since you've become good with the transformation jutsu, and you've never had been good at it until then. How did you get so good with the jutsu so fast? Sakura asked, curious about that day. Well, you heard I took the scroll of seals, so I learned the shadow clone jutsu technique, but I also tried to train myself on the transformation jutsu. I worked hard and I succeeded. Guess what? The other senseis told me that in order to learn a new jutsu you have to see it, not practice it. Naruto replied, with a soft smile. Naruto-kun, it's been always like that, you've always had to train hard, you can't just watch how it works. Sakura informed, as she was surprised by the teaching their sensei had given Naruto. It doesn't. I thought it did. All the senseis told me just that. Naruto told Sakura, which added something in her mind. Did they give you any scrolls to learn from, any books, any texts, or something? Sakura asked, knowing the answer. No, not really. I've asked though, but they refused to listen to me. Heck, I was even kicked out of a few classes just for being a second late to sit on my chair. I guess that was also part of their plan to sabotage me. The only one who did train me and tried to teach me was Iruka-sensei. But I guess because I wasn't taught a lot by the other senseis I couldn't learn much from Iruka-sensei. So that's it, all goes for me. Naruto replied. Sakura was shocked and angry at the same time. Her senseis, his senseis, their senseis sabotaged Naruto, and she knew why. It was all because of the 9 tails sealed inside of him. It's pretty obvious that Naruto is not the 9 tails in human skin, but the jailer of the 9 tails. She never understood why Naruto didn't know so much about being a ninja until now. It was all because the senseis wouldn't teach Naruto hardly anything because of their fear and rage against the demon inside of him. In a way, she felt guilty herself that she'd never noticed it all before, and it was because she was after Sasuke for this whole time. But she's making up for her mistakes. I can see some people dancing. Naruto-kun, can you dance? Sakura asked, with a smile on her face. Well, I've read a few stories and seen movies and TV shows with people dancing, but I've never had done it beforehand. Naruto replied, not too sure if he should dance, but. May I have this dance? Naruto asked as he got off from his chair and offered Sakura his hand. Sakura giggled before replying, Baka, yes, I will accept your offer. Soon, both Naruto and Sakura were at the dance floor, with Naruto watching his feet carefully in case he might step on her feet. With Sasuke and Hinata, both Sasuke and Hinata had been registered to their seat by an employee. Their seat was next to a large blue light fish tank that no one could deny sitting next to. Once ordered, both Sasuke and Hinata decided to have a chat with each other. How are you so far? A lot of people in Konoha have been confused and feeling bad ever since Naruto tried to leave the village. Sasuke asked, shyly. Well, I've been feeling a little unease since Naruto-kun tried to leave. I was so shocked when he was the son of the fourth Hokage. I'm a bit confused, Hinata replied, shyly, while blushing lightly. Hey, I'm confused as well. It was sudden to learn Naruto was the last Namikaze and the son of the fourth Hokage. And I know it'll be hard to accept that since the whole village lied not only to us but Naruto as well for our whole lives. I'm sure we'll accept it sometime. Sasuke said with a smirk, as he held Hinata's hand, which made her blush lightly. Yeah, Hinata agreed, with a small smile on her face while blushing lightly still. The two turned their heads towards the dance floor as they heard music coming from there. Sasuke walked over to Hinata and gave her his hand. May I? Sasuke asked politely, as Hinata blushed again lightly, before nodding and taking his hand. Sure. Hinata replied, putting a small smile on, as Hinata and Sasuke walked towards the dancing floor. With Naruto and Sakura. Both Naruto and Sakura were struggling a bit to dance, as Sakura had to go slow while Naruto had to mostly look at her feet on what she's doing. The routine was simple. It was merely the same thing in stance. Naruto and Sakura were holding hands, while Naruto's left arm, which was holding Sakura's right arm, was extended forward, while the other hands of Naruto and Sakura were closer. Their dance consisted of them mostly walking in circles while holding each other. Sakura saw how bad Naruto was at dancing, seeing how many times herself and Naruto were stomping on each other's feet by accident. Stomp! Ouch! Sakura exclaimed, as Naruto accidentally stomped on her foot. Sorry. Naruto apologized, as he and Sakura continued their dance. Stomp! Ouch! Naruto exclaimed, as Sakura accidentally stomped on his foot. Sorry. Sakura apologized, as the two were gonna continue, but then stopped. I think we should just stop and dance like this. Sakura said. Instead of walking in circles, they just rode side to side, while Naruto moved his right arm lower on Sakura's lower back, while Sakura had her left arm around Naruto's neck, as the two gazed into one another. I suck at it, don't I? Naruto asked, as he smiled at Sakura, who was smiling back at Naruto. To be honest, you do. Sakura replied. Naruto just kept his smile up. I guess I need to practice, don't I? And I thought the transformation jutsu was a hard jutsu to learn. Naruto guessed. Sakura giggled lightly, before she felt Naruto's arm pull her closer to Naruto. I love you, Sakura-chan. Naruto said. And I love you too. Sakura said as the two began to kiss for a few short seconds, but what felt like a few short seconds was a couple of hours for the young genins. With Sasuke and Hinata, similar to Naruto and Sakura, Sasuke and Hinata were dancing, with Sasuke's left arm extended while holding Hinata's right arm extended. Sasuke's right arm was holding Hinata's left arm, both were closer like Naruto's and Sakura's arms. It was the similar dance everyone was doing. People were doing the exact same type of dance Naruto and Sakura were doing. I never thought Sasuke-kun you were a great dancer. Hinata complimented with a small smile, as Sasuke blushed from that compliment. My mother taught me how to dance. Though I've never knew why since I was merely 5 years old at the time. Sasuke explained. Hinata smiled. I remember the same thing with my mother. Hinata reminded herself, as she remembered the happy memories she had with her mother. Really? Sasuke said, as both he and Hinata stopped just to walk slowly while moving back and forth slowly. The four genins were all enjoying themselves and their dates, but it all stopped once they bumped into someone. Bump. Oh sorry, we were just. Sasuke. Hinata. Exclaimed Naruto in surprise. Sasuke. Hinata. Sakura exclaimed in surprise. Naruto-kun. Sakura-chan. Hinata exclaimed in surprise. Naruto. Sakura. Sasuke exclaimed in surprise. What are you two doing here? Naruto asked, curiously, as he and Sakura had to drop the dance stance. Well, we were just, Both Sasuke and Hinata replied at the same time, not so sure how to answer Naruto's question. Can't you see Naruto-kun? The way they're dressed, the way they're dancing, it's obvious Sasuke and Hinata are dating. Sakura informed, as she smiled at her teammate and friend. Yeah, in a way yes. Sasuke admitted, while Hinata was struggling to speak. Yes we were. Hinata agreed, as she was blushing furiously like nothing before. Good for you two then, I've never thought Sasuke would be dating Hinata. But I'm sure you two belong together, you're both a cute couple. Naruto complimented. True, Sasuke and Hinata are great together. And I thought Ino was gonna go after him, but I guess I was wrong. I guess Sasuke likes the silent and shy types the best. Sakura agreed. Both Hinata and Sasuke felt embarrassed but pleased, as their friends complimented them on being together. Well, yeah, what are you two doing here? Sasuke asked. On a date with Sakura-chan. I wanted to take her here for a long time. Naruto replied. Surprised you could afford to come to a place like this, seeing how much ramen you eat, I'd say you would have to be broke. Sasuke said, as Hinata and Sakura giggled lightly. Watch it Tem. Naruto growled, before Sakura patted him on the back. Now Naruto-kun, we still have a date together. It was nice talking to you two for a while. It's nice to see a new love couple coming up. Sakura said with her eyes and mouth smiling. Both Naruto and Sakura waved to Sasuke and Hinata as the two young genins went back to their tables. About time too, their food had just arrived. Sakura was eating some soup, while Naruto, not surprisingly, was eating ramen. Hinata and Sasuke saw their food come and decided to return back to their seats as well. With Naruto and Sakura, after eating, the two decided to wait for the bill. So, how was your meal? Naruto asked Sakura, while giving her his usual smile. Sakura just smiled before replying, it was good. I had a great time here Naruto-kun. It was the best ever. I guess I was wrong when I said all those times you didn't know how to treat a lady, you do. I'm sorry about all those times. Never mind that. The important thing is we're together, and that's how I like it. I love you Sakura-chan, I always will. Naruto said, as his eyes softened with his smile. And I love you too, Naruto-kun. Sakura said as well, as the two genins moved in each other to kiss each other on the lips. With Sasuke and Hinata, after having their soups and dishes, Sasuke and Hinata waited for the bill. But not before having a little chat about today. So, how did you enjoy our date? Sasuke asked, with a small smile. I thought we should walk around the village for a bit. Until we digested the food. Hinata replied, shyly, with a small smile. Sure. Hinata-chan, can you come closer? I want to ask you something. Sasuke asked, as he moved closer to Hinata. Sure. Hinata replied, as she moved in closer to Sasuke to hear what he has to say. But to Hinata's surprise, Sasuke kissed her on the cheek, which made her blush violently. She made sure she wouldn't collapse from shock, but to her surprise she managed to stop that from happening. Sasuke smirked at the blushing Hinata. He could just tell she obviously liked the kiss. That's all, Hinata-chan, Sasuke said, with a smirk on his face. Time skip. After dinner. Location: Konoha streets, specific location: Konoha Bridge. Sasuke-kun. The stars, there are so many, said a shocked Hinata, as her eyes widened at the amount of stars there were. There were many stars tonight in Konoha, which made a beautiful scenery at the bridge, as the dark river was covered in reflections of the many white circle milky dots that had covered the sky. The moon was over the bridge, which reflected onto the water, leaving a stream of white light across the water. Hinata was holding the rails tight as she was shocked to see many stars. She's always been mostly confined to the Hyuga compound by orders of her father. Of course she saw stars, but never as many as she does now. Sasuke smirked at the happy, shocked, Hinata. Ever since his clan died, Sasuke never became as happy as he is now. Sasuke moved closer slightly to Hinata and grabbed her hand. Hinata blushed lightly at the contact as she saw Sasuke smirked at her. Looks good, doesn't it? Sasuke asked. Yeah, it does. I've never seen many stars as now before in my life, Hinata said, as she smiled lightly at Sasuke. Thanks, Sasuke-kun. Hinata thanked, as she laid her head on Sasuke's shoulders. I love you, Hinata-chan, Sasuke said. And I love you too, Sasuke-kun, Hinata said. The two young genins looked at each other, before moving in. And for the first time, kissing each other on the lips. It was official, Yin and Yang were right, Sasuke and Hinata just officially announced each other as boyfriend and girlfriend. With Naruto and Sakura. I love the restaurant, Naruto-kun. Thank you for bringing me here, Sakura thanked, as she smiled lightly at Naruto. No problem. It was my treat, Naruto said, as Sakura kissed Naruto on the cheek. I guess I should go home now, Sakura guessed. I'll take you home for tonight, that's what boyfriends are for, Naruto insisted, as he took Sakura's hand. Sakura laid her head on Naruto's shoulders before thanking in a soothing voice, thanks Naruto-kun. With that said, both Naruto and Sakura were gonna walk towards Sakura's house, but were cut off when an Anbu suddenly came right in front of them. Naruto Uzumaki, Hokage-sama, requests your presence immediately, he said. Why does Granny Tsunade want me? Naruto asked in dumbfounded. She'll explain about it. It's urgent. With that replied the Anbu, then jumped away from Naruto and Sakura, heading toward the Hokage's tower. Wonder what Granny wants? Naruto wondered. Sorry Sakura-chan, I have to go to see Granny Tsunade, Naruto informed in a sad tone. I'll come with you, that's what girlfriends are for, right? Sakura said, with a smile on her face. Naruto smiled back, before the two changed direction, and walked towards the Hokage's tower. Location: Hokage's tower, specific location: Hokage's office. Are you sure Naruto will be ready for this, Tsunade-sama? Asked a concerned Kakashi. We have to tell him, we already revealed his true name to the village, it's only a big surprise he didn't find out. Tsunade replied, in surprise. That's because you've told the village not to reveal his heritage until you do. Plus I think Naruto's ready for it, even if he's not a hero to this village yet, we promised Minato and Kushina. Jiraiya explained, with a serious look on his face. In the office, Tsunade, Jiraiya, Kakashi, and Shizune were all waiting for Naruto. It was time to tell him the truth of who he was, time to reveal his heritage, time to reveal his parents' true name. Hokage-sama, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze is here, informed an Anbu, as he came through the door with Naruto and Sakura. Hey Granny, what's wrong? Naruto asked in concern. Sakura, please stand outside for a minute, this is between us and Naruto, Tsunade ordered, as Sakura nodded, in response, before walking outside of the door. Anbu nodded, as he took Sakura outside of the office, closing the door behind them. Sakura stayed outside to hear what they were talking about in the office. So Granny, is there anything wrong? Naruto asked, in curiosity. Take a seat please, Tsunade said, as she sat down on her chair. So did Naruto at the other side of her desk. Naruto, I don't know how to say this, maybe I should explain what happened while you were in a coma. Tsunade began, the person who knocked you out was a medic, a doctor, right now he's with Ibiki serving his time for trying to kill you. During your coma, the civilian council were scared you would attack the village out of vengeance, so they proposed to banish you. Of course I told them they wouldn't, but a vote was held that would surely force your banishment. By the next day you were supposed to be banished, coma, or no coma. However, Tsunade paused for a moment to look Naruto in the eyes. Naruto was listening, as he moved forward to hear what she had to say. I managed to stop that from happening. I told them who you were, and who you actually are. Naruto. Your name isn't Naruto Uzumaki. That's part of your name. Your true name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, son of the Red Death Kushina Uzumaki, and the fourth Hokage Minato Namikaze. Tsunade finally finished, as she saw the look on Naruto's face. Naruto's eyes were wide open, his face showing a very shocked expression. He was the son of one of Konoha's greatest heroes. What? Stuttered a shocked Naruto. That's not all. You're the last Namikaze like your father was. You hold what he held, the Kopi, king of the bloodlines, the one bloodline that can copy others, along with their jutsus permanently. Jiraiya added, as he crossed his arms, and looked at the young genin. He could tell Naruto was sad in the inside. Naruto didn't say a thing, as he was still shocked, and sad from the news. He looked on the ground, before asking in a sad tone, they hated me. Didn't they? What? Exclaimed Tsunade. No Naruto, they didn't hate you. Tsunade talked back, in a stern but sorry voice. They did. Naruto snapped. They didn't want me. They put this thing in me. They thought I was an accident. Right. Naruto, they've never hated you. Tsunade snapped back. Then why didn't anyone tell me about them before? Why didn't anyone say anything? Naruto asked, in rage. Their final wish was for you to be seen as a hero, Naruto. Sarutobi-sensei promised them he wouldn't reveal your heritage. Minato made lots of enemies that would kill either him or anyone from his clan to seek their revenge. We kept this a secret so you would be safe. Jiraiya stepped in. Naruto looked at him with shocked but sad eyes. Then, why did they put the demon in me? Why? Naruto asked, tears spilling from his eyes. It wouldn't matter anyway, Naruto. Naruto looked up. Your mother was the Nine's Jinchuriki before you. Even if the Kyuubi didn't attack, you would still end up having it sealed within you anyways. Tsunade explained. Then, how'd it get out? Asked a shocked and sad Naruto. During childbirth from a female Jinchuriki, Naruto, the seals they were born with that kept their demons intact fell apart. Think about like a dam that's getting older and older by the day. We believe the Kyuubi escaped your mother after you were born. Don't think about this as your fault, Naruto. We can't control when these things happen. Your parents want the best for you. Tsunade explained again. Then, why didn't anyone know about it? Why didn't they know she was a Jinchuriki? And why was I revealed as one? Asked Naruto. Your mother's status as a Jinchuriki was a secret, Naruto. Trust me, Sarutobi-sensei was gonna keep yours a secret too, but the civilian council along with the Hyuga clan leaked the information a day after the Kyuubi attack. By the time Sarutobi-sensei found out, it was already too late. Your Jinchuriki status was revealed to the public. Tsunade explained. The only thing he could do was create a law to stop the older generation from telling the younger generation about your status. I can see that didn't go well either. Jiraiya added, feeling sorry for Naruto. There's one more thing about Naruto. Tsunade said, me and Jiraiya were close friends to Minato and Kushina. We were really close. In a way, Naruto, were your godparents. Tsunade explained, leaving Naruto speechless. You're my what? Naruto stuttered, as a few tears came through his eyes. Why didn't you come for me, when I needed you to the most? Naruto asked. Trust me, Naruto, it was a surprise too. I didn't know Minato and Kushina had a child, I didn't even know about Kushina's pregnancy. I was away from Konoha for years, Naruto, I cut all ties till you came along. When I was Hokage, I discovered it, not long either, I discovered you were my godchild while you were at Tea Country. Tsunade explained. What about you, pervy sage? Didn't you know? Naruto asked. Quote. Jiraiya hadn't said a word, he just looked down on the ground. Jiraiya, is there something you'd like to say? Asked Tsunade, as she looked at her former teammate with a tough stare like daggers. I guess I should tell you, Tsunade, that I've known Naruto was the son of Minato and Kushina for a while now, Tsunade. I've known about it since he was born. Jiraiya confessed. What? Why didn't you tell me? Tsunade demanded, as she rose from her seat in anger. Shizune stepped in front of Tsunade to stop her before saying in a scared voice, Tsunade-sama, stop. Stay calm. I didn't tell you because I didn't know where you were. I had no idea where you were. You were gone, remember, you cut everything from Konoha. I was gonna tell you about Naruto once he came back from Tea Country. Jiraiya explained in defense, as he stepped away from the enraged Tsunade. Tsunade turned her head back to Naruto, as she sat back down to grab a few scrolls from under her desk, before saying, anyway, Naruto, your parents were great people. I have everything they wanted to give you all in these scrolls. Their will, their fortune, and their jutsus and scrolls. Sarutobi sensei hid them from anyone stealing them, including the council. For a long time they tried to find excuses to get your heritage, you may read them here or not, you are dismissed. With that said, Naruto just nodded, as he ran through the doors back to his apartment. Sakura heard everything. It was her second time hearing Naruto's secret, but she felt sad for her blonde boyfriend, as he didn't take the news very well. She took a few steps forward, allowing Tsunade to see her. Sakura, could you please go and see Naruto, make sure he's safe please? Tsunade ordered. Yes, Tsunade-sama. Sakura nodded, as she ran after Naruto towards his apartment. So, Jiraiya, we need to talk. Tsunade said, her voice with a hint of anger. Tsunade, I know you're upset, but please understand, there was nothing I could do for Naruto. What did you expect me to do? Jiraiya asked in defense. Oh, I don't know, Jiraiya. Wait, I know. How about you? Adopt him, you idiot. Tsunade replied in rage, if you knew, adopt Naruto. I'm pretty sure the council hasn't forbidden you from adopting him. And I'm also sure if they did you wouldn't listen to a word they say, you stupid fool. Tsunade screamed. Tsunade, you know as much as I do, Naruto would have been in danger still. I made enemies along Minato's side, most of my enemies are his. I would have given Naruto's status away. And don't think it was an easy decision for me, Tsunade. I did what was best for Naruto. I had no choice, you know I don't have time either protecting him or caring for him while I take care of my spy network. Jiraiya talked back in defense. Then at least order your spy network, or at least someone to watch over Naruto. Tsunade suggested. I can't. They're just as busy as I am. Jiraiya explained. Tell me, do you still spend your free time watching girls naked instead of taking care of your family, just to make those perverted books of yours? Tsunade asked, warning in her voice. Okay, probably I shouldn't have spent my free time on making those books. I should have at least been with Naruto, visit him. But I do regret those times, Tsunade. Jiraiya spoke in defense. Tsunade just looked away. Fine. At least Naruto knows the truth. A moment of silence was there, until Kakashi stepped in and broke it, before asking, Minato-sensei had lots of enemies, Tsunade-sama. I just know a few of them will come here and try to kill Naruto. How do you think we can combat them off? What are we gonna do? I don't know, Kakashi. I don't know, we'll just have to wait and see what happens to Naruto. Tsunade replied, because of this moment, whatever happens, is entirely up to fate in the future for Naruto. We'll always protect him no matter what. Tsunade explained, as everyone nodded in agreement. As of now, the future of Naruto depends on what happens to him. Location: Naruto's apartment. After a long run, Sakura panted as she walked up the stairs to Naruto's apartment door. She noticed his door was cracked a bit, meaning he must have shut the door really hard out of rage. She can't blame him though. She would feel the same way if the people she trusted had lied to her, her whole life about being the Nine's Jinchuriki, or part of a noble clan who should have been treated respectfully. She began to knock on the door, only to find the door opened slightly itself. Sakura took a peek to see a sad Naruto on his bed, sitting, reading the scroll Tsunade gave him, the scroll of his parents' last words before they died. Sakura walked in, and asked, "Are you okay, Naruto-kun?" "Sakura-chan, how much have you heard?" Naruto asked, as he stuttered and was surprised to see Sakura. "Everything. Mostly the second time, Naruto-kun, I am so sorry for what happened." Sakura apologized, as she was sad for her blonde Jinchuriki boyfriend. "It's okay. I don't know. I'm tired of being lied to. I'm tired of people keeping secrets from me. I'm tired of everything. Why me? What did I do to deserve this? Who wants me to suffer? Why should I suffer? All I wanted was to be recognized, treated like a normal person. Even outsiders are treated much better than I am. Why? Why did you attack the village? Is it because you were angry? Is it because you hate humans? Why?" Naruto asked continuously, as he held his stomach, the place where the 9 tails was sealed in. Sakura walked up to Naruto and sat next to him on his bed, replying, "There are some questions about Naruto-kun that might never be answered. But I do know this. You never deserved to be treated like this. You never deserved any of this. It took time, but I finally found out you had the Kyuubi within you, but that doesn't take your rights as a human being away. I love, and I know you'll prove this village wrong that, Kyuubi brat, is not a useless ninja, you'll prove them all wrong, and I know you can do it, it's your ninja way, right?" Naruto processed everything Sakura had just said, the few tears he shed were lifted, as he pulled out a smile, agreeing, "You're right, Sakura-chan. It is my ninja way. I do know I can do it. What does the scroll say anyway?" Sakura asked, in curiosity. "Take a look for yourself." Naruto replied, as he wiped his tears away, before moving closer to Sakura, showing her the scroll. "Dear Naruto, my son. It is my deepest regret that all have a high probability of dying as the Naris calculated. I can't beat Kyuubi, he's too powerful, he's too strong, he's too much. And I can't defeat him. Even the first Hokage would have difficulty beating the Kyuubi. I calculated the time for the Kyuubi to arrive would take approximately an hour before he arrives in our village. I'm taking the time to write all of this to you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Naruto, I'll never see you again. I hoped that when I saw your face first we'd have a great future together, but I guess I was wrong. I'm sorry I'll never see you grow up. I'm sorry I'll never watch you. I'm sorry I'll never see what ninja you could become. I asked Hiruzen Sarutobi to take care of you, we made some arrangements. We changed your name to Naruto Uzumaki to keep my enemies from killing you. Sarutobi promised when you became a hero, you'll be given your mother's and my heritage and secrets and fortune. There is so little Naruto I could do for you, in such a short time. The only reason you're reading this right now is if you've become a hero to the village. I just want to say your mother and I are very proud of you, the only regret we'll die with, is abandoning you in such a short age. Sincerely from your father, Minato Namikaze, 4th Hokage of the village hidden in the leaves. Naruto shed a few tears after he had read the scroll. Sakura was surprised, she'd never known that parents would go to such lengths as to write a goodbye letter to a child that had just been born at the time. Naruto put the scroll his father sent him down, as he grabbed the one Kushina had given him. Dear Naruto, my son. I'm so sorry, I just held you in my arms for 25 minutes, and I'm already writing my will to you. Every sentence I write drives more and more tears down my eyes. I just want to say I'm sorry, and I'll regret this choice. Me and your father decided to seal the 9 tails within you. I know it may sound like a terrible idea, but if we don't, we along with you and the rest of the village will burn to the ground. Your father is currently fighting the 9 tails himself. I know what to do. I have to use my chakra chains to seal the beast while Minato creates the seal. Of course this process is very likely to kill both of us. Which is why I'm writing. In one of the scrolls one had written down instructions to use the Uzumaki chains technique. There you'll create chakra chains, not even Tsunade herself could break with all the force in the world. I also have a few scrolls you'll learn from. I know they'll be useful and helpful to you in times of trouble. I want you to know that me and your father are very proud of you for what you've become. Sincerely, your mother, Kushina Uzumaki, Red Death of the Village Hidden in the Leaves. Naruto put the scroll down on the floor with the rest. Again he was sad to read the last words of his mother. Naruto had just read both scrolls, and was filled with tears in his eyes. They were great heroes. They really did care for me. Naruto said, in a sad tone. Looks like it. Sakura agreed in a soft tone. Your parents were great heroes, and sacrificed their lives not only for the village, but you Naruto-kun. Sakura added. You're right Sakura-chan, they did it for me, and I promise that, I'll become the hero they wanted me to become, I'll become Hokage, and I'll protect this village like they did. That's my ninja way, Naruto said. Both Naruto and Sakura kissed each other, before Sakura left his apartment, leaving a happy Naruto behind. Now, he started a new path, a path he'll take dangers on. The real fun comes now. This was just the beginning, the real secret will unfold in the next episode. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And hit the bell icon so you'll be the first to see what happens next. See you again in the next journey of Uzumaki Empire 2.0.